Hello? Hello? I just started my stream and I just got back to saying hello to the stream. Welcome, Raiders. What great timing. We both just got here at the same time. Liv, thank you for subscribing. Hey, dudes. Well, at this point, I might as well get rid of that. Hold on. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. I just got to the computer because I was not ready when I went live. I go live and then I go and do things. I hit the go live button, put the be right back screen up, and then I leave. Usually I go make a coffee. I go get a Coke. I go, in this case I went and made nuggets. So I've got chicken nuggets. Welcome everybody to the stream. Hello, dudes. Your hair is gorgeous as always. Thanks, it's not mine. There's so much of it too. It blends in. I finally washed it, and let me tell you, washing it was hard. That was hard. That was a pretty tough time for me. Also, though, then drying it, which took many hours. I tried to blow dry it, and then at halfway through, I just kind of gave up and started to let it air dry, and then like 2 hours later, it was still wet, so I went back and blow dried it again. And then I waited another hour, and then I straightened it, and I straightened it over the course of multiple trips to the bathroom because I couldn't do it all at once. It got so hot, I had to do like the bottom third and then leave for a while to cool off because I was simultaneously sweating and getting my hair wet again. It took so long, but I'm not gonna wash this baby for another like 3 days now. Also, guess how fast I've already decided to tap out of the extensions. I'm going back and I'm getting just like 3 or 4 of them removed because it's too much. I went and I texted my hairstylist. So after I washed it and went through that whole experience of drying and straightening my hair, I texted him and I was like, can I come back and you just take like 2 on each side out? Because he warned me, he was like, I'm gonna put a lot in. And I'm just gonna keep going until you tell me to stop or it's too heavy. And then I never told him to stop. And so we kind of just put all the hair in and it looked great, but I think that I cannot keep up with it. So I'm getting some taken back out. It's too much hair. It's too many pieces of hair. I think I've picked out the pieces I'd like removed specifically too. The 2 that are right above my ears because I can't like tuck my hair comfortably. And if I'm not live, my hair is at all times tucked behind my ears. I don't live and exist with my hair in my face like this all the time. It just looks better that way. But, as soon as I end stream, hair's tucked. I don't want to see it in my eye, like, peripherals, ever. I thought you were gonna last another week or so. I didn't even last 2 days. I'm gonna have him remove the one from each above my ears, so that's 2. 1 at the very base of my neck directly in the center because I always split my hair down the middle and bring it to the front and I keep hitting that extension at the back. Especially if I do pigtails. I think I don't want any that are directly in the middle. So the one right at the back at the bottom of my head, I'm gonna have removed. And then I think just like 1 other one or 2 other ones, maybe like up here. I can feel a layer of 4 of them on each side of my scalp here. All in this chunk, so I think like 1 or 2 of those. Just so that it's slightly less hair, because I want this length. And one day I'll have it naturally. I will never have this thickness naturally. And I think I decided it's too much thickness. Anyway, hey, welcome. Nobody even asked me about this. Also, I'm gonna be eating a couple of chicken nuggets and tater tots that I just heated up, but that were too hot for me to finish eating before I went live. I'm eating them with chopsticks because all of my forks are dirty and I don't feel like cleaning a fork. I have some cool things for us to read about today. We are just doing a chatting stream. Although guess what? Also, by a complete accident between today and this morning, my next Empires episode is entirely done being filmed. I just ended up with too much footage from the last 2 days with different collaborations with people. I got haunted on stream the other day. I did a whole bit with Lizzie, which is so fun. So it's all filmed. So I think I'm just going to edit that tonight and just put it out as soon as possible. Probably not tomorrow, but the day after, only because I just uploaded one. And then I've already started filming the next episode. Which is The next episode, I think, actually won't have the Lizzie bit in it. The one following it will have the Lizzie bit in it. And I've got a whole couple of builds planned for that one. So I've already started working on it. And I think I'm almost nearly ready to do the episode where we do go into the Evermore and go find the source of the fog. Because I know what the source is going to be. It's just gotta be built and we gotta go find it. And then I get to dump like a massive piece of lore on you. The whole camera rattling. She's ahead. I was falling behind a little bit. I kind of like was losing the motivation of doing the editing. But I was doing the building and I was like, I can't just keep building at night off stream and off camera and then not making a video. The haunting was terrifying and I still don't really know who did that. What even was up with that? Also, I deleted the mushroom. It's gone. It needed to be done and now it has been done. The mushroom is no more. These nuggets are good. They are not real chicken. They're fake, actually. Actually, I'm pretty sure I know who it is. Do you want it to be spoiled? Or do you want it to be part of the lore and not have that part of the immersion ruined for you while you're live, or while I'm live on the stream? Or do you want the streams to be the place where I just openly talk about all the behind the scenes things that happened? I'll make it really easy. When it was happening, I don't know if you paid really close attention while it was happening, if you were paying attention during the stream really closely, at the time of the incident, there were only 2 other people online. That's all I'll say. Go figure it out. You can go, if you want to know, you can go and sleuth it out. And once you find out who those 2 people were, it's going to become really easy to figure out which of the one did it. But although I guess there is no telling that, like, Fwip can't just come on his secret cam account just to mess with me while I'm live. But you go sleuth it out. I'm pretty sure it's one of those 2 people and not someone coming on in secret, invisible, and not even showing up on the tab list. But anyway, that episode... that episode with the haunting, I'm going to actually put out in 2 days. What day is it today? Thursday. I'm going to put it out Saturday, probably, because I think I'm going to edit it tonight into tomorrow. What plane thought that they could fly by so low right now while I'm streaming? I hate when this happens because the whole house is rattling. It's kind of scary. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I had a really, really scary nightmare one time recently. And I don't get dreams. Like, hardly ever. Or I don't remember them. Everyone's always like, but everyone has dreams. It's just a matter of if you remember when you... I wake up and I don't recall anything having happened. Ever. I do not dream. Only on very rare occasions will I remember the most mundane detail of a single dream that may have happened in the night. And almost immediately, it's usually gone if I don't tell it to someone right away. But I had a nightmare... I think within the last month. I know I said recently, but that's how little I dream, that I recall one from a month ago or 2. But I think what must have happened is a plane must have flown over my house at like just like that and rattled the whole thing while I was in my sleep, and it affected my dream because it was terrifying. I was in a house, and honestly, I even still only remember like the absolute littlest detail about what the nightmare was about because it's instantly gone if I even remember a fraction of it. But I do remember being in a house and we were like scared because a thing was about to happen. And then the thing happened, and the thing was a massive earthquake had hit. And so the whole house is rattling, which is why I think a plane probably flew over. The whole house is rattling and the floor breaks out under my feet and I'm just falling for like infinity. And then I woke up. But the feeling of falling in it was the most terrifying. In the dream, I closed my eyes because I thought I was gonna hit the ground, and it was so scary. I felt the fall feeling, but nothing actually happened in real life to make my stomach do that sinking. But I was like, I'm falling. I must close my eyes and just wait. And then when I opened them again, I was awake. So it was so weird. It was so crazy. I've never fallen in my dream like that ever in my life. What's that mean? What's that supposed to symbolize? I've had the dream where your teeth fall out. That one's stress. I've never had the falling feeling in my dream. I've never, ever, 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 ever. And that was the most terrible. I was traumatized for like a week because I was like, it felt real. And closing my eyes waiting was the most, ooh, it still kind of gives my stomach a little bit uneasiness. You hit the ground and boom, you're awake. In this case, I never hit the ground and I closed my eyes waiting for such a long time that when I opened them, I was awake. I opened them in real life. The falling feeling is insecurity. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. This might make a lot of sense. That might make a lot of sense. That might make too much sense. Does it mean something significant that I never actually hit the ground? And I just was awake after still falling and never crashed? What's that supposed to mean? Uh-oh, why do I have those too often? Uh-oh, we all find out we're insecure. Oop. That's such a crazy feeling when you've never had it happen, but a bunch of people in the chat are like, I get those all the time. I've never fallen in a dream. I heard teeth falling out is financial insecurity. Oh, I heard it was stress. Definitely was not financially insecure at the time because when I had my teeth falling out dream, this is how little I dream in my life that I can remember. I was in high school. That was definitely not a concern of mine back then because I was not financially independent even to begin with. So I think I was just stressed. I have so few dreams that I remember them over the course of several years. Because the ones that I remember, they stick with me. What if I'm still in the dream? I never hit the ground. I'm still in the dream falling. What does that mean? Lucid dreams is cool. I used to be able to do that. Actually, I should mention, I did used to be able to dream. I used to dream all the time when I was a kid, and I would lucid dream because of the way that I would wake up for school. I would wake up, get ready, and then go back to sleep. Or very often, I would just have an alarm and then set it for another 10 minutes and go back to sleep. As soon as I would wake up and then go back to sleep, I'd come back into the dream I was just having, pick it up where I left off, but now I know I'm dreaming. And I'll have complete awareness and control over what's happening. I can rewrite the whole story, but I am still having the dream. I used to do that. Now it never happens because I never remember my dreams. We all used to dream. I used to be able to control my dreams if I woke up and then went back in. I would just, like, putting a movie on pause, I'd come back, but then I'd be aware. And then I would be able to control it and, like, do whatever I want, have awareness inside of my dream. What I've never experienced, and I hope never happens to me because I'm incredibly, utterly afraid of it happening, is sleep paralysis. That has never happened to me. And it sounds like the worst thing that could happen to you when it comes to just the most pleasurable thing in the world, which is sleeping. Nothing is better than sleeping. That would ruin sleep for me. I've never had it happen. I never want it to happen to me. I know somebody that has it happen often. And what they do is they go to sleep with an eye mask on so that if they wake up, like, but not fully awake where their body can't move, there's no possibility of seeing, like, the weird things that you might see. Like, people in your room? Demons? No, I'm not about that, but that's actually a genius way around it, is just sleep with an eye mask on. You won't see anything when you wake up. And until you can move your body, your eyes are covered. So that's honestly big brain move. Anyone who in here has that happen, if you haven't considered it and can fall asleep with one on, because I don't think I could, honestly. Eye mask, and they do earplugs too. They do the whole nine, so that nothing can get in until their body can move. Yeah, never had sleep paralysis, but I'm so afraid of the first time. Like, what if it just happens once? It can happen at any time. It's like a ticking time bomb that it might just happen to me at any given moment, and I'm not gonna be ready. If I wake up and I can't move my body and I start seeing someone, I don't know, man. I'll just pee. I think I would just pee. I might start sleeping with an eye mask just to prevent it ever from happening, even once. I don't want it. I don't want that. I'm so scared of it. I'm so scared. I'm gonna even manifest it because I'm so afraid of it. I've had sleep paralysis and there was no noise for me. I don't know if there's supposed to be noise. I know people see things, but the person that I know who has it happen, I think they just also prefer to sleep with earplugs and just absolutely zero senses aware. Leon Boy, thank you for the 245 bits. I'm gonna read that in a second. I'm gonna read the other sub. Gabby Lena, thank you for subscribing. Have you ever sleepwalked or talked? I have never sleepwalked. Well, okay. One single time I had a nightmare where I actually shot out of my bed and ran across my room and still felt like I was in dream zone. I don't think this counts as sleepwalking, but it's the only time that I've been up, awake, and moving around, but still thought that the danger that was in my dream was in real life. And I was like hiding behind my door frame and I felt like I could still hear the pounding that I was hearing in my dream, which was in my dream, my dog became giant and was stomping around the whole house coming to kill me. And then I shot out of bed and woke up and I ran to my door and I was hiding behind the door frame because I was like, she's over there, I can hear it. And I was breathing so heavy and I thought I was still in it, but then I was like, I opened the door and I was like, wait a minute, that was a dream. But sleep talking, no. I am a very heavy sleeper. I do have this issue where if somebody wakes me up and I'm not prepared to be woken up, like it's not awake time yet, if I get woken up in the middle of the night or too early, I'll say things, and then if they let me go back to sleep and not just fully wake up at that point, if I go back to sleep, I don't remember anything that I've said. I don't know that I'm fully asleep, but I'm definitely not fully aware either. And also I'm so mean too. I'm so grumpy. But when I wake up again later, I don't remember. And I don't think I should be held responsible either, actually, because I don't remember what I said. I have no idea it even happened sometimes. And I'll be told like, I accidentally woke you up and you were really mean. And then I'm like, I don't remember that. I don't remember waking up even. Don't remember saying anything. I think that's kind of like sleep talking because I'm like half still asleep. And I'm so grumpy. I'll grumble. I don't even know what I say. Because then I'll go back to sleep and when I wake up later, I don't remember it. And I'm like, please don't take anything that happens in that moment personally because I'm not aware. I don't have enough awareness to be responsible. I would never be mean. But it's funny. I woke up in my bathtub once. It was horrifying. Were you sleepwalking and you fell asleep in the bathtub and then you woke up in the bathtub? How do you even rationalize that? When you wake up, do you just immediately go, oh, must have been sleepwalking? Or like, how confused do you wake up? All right. Let me finish my taters. I have something I want to read for us today. Here's what I got into last night. Here's my new obsession. Everybody ready? Buckle up, because I'm going to make us all suffer with this one for a little while, because it's so interesting to me. And you better think it's interesting too. So, I want to read something. Because I found the synopsis to a Disney movie that did not ever get made as it was going to be made, but then instead later was made to be what we know as Emperor's New Groove. The entire plot of that movie originally started as a movie called Kingdom of the Sun. And other than a couple characters' names and like the story does revolve around a llama, the plot is entirely different. Incredibly so different and really dark, but really cool. And kind of, I think, different enough that they should make this movie, but maybe get rid of the llama part so it's not still so much like Emperor's New Groove. So the reason I found out about this was because I fell down a hole of watching this guy. I want to make sure I tell you who, because I've been obsessively watching every one of these videos from him. It's all about lost media. Different types of lost media, lost episodes of shows that we just don't have anymore, lost movies that we don't have anymore, or were very almost nearly entirely wiped out. One movie I found out about was almost entirely erased from being found in history because the church crusaded so hard against it because it was, the woman in the movie was a little bit dressed a little skimpy, you might say, and they thought it was too scandalous, and they tried to get their hands on every copy and destroy them. So a bunch of people gathered as many of the copies as they could still find before the church got to them and hid them in a vault. And you know what they did? The church found the vault and burned it down. But still somehow, somewhere, someone found, like, it is a movie you can watch because some copies were recovered that didn't get completely destroyed, but they nearly wiped this whole movie off the face of the earth. And I've been just watching videos about lost media that exist. There's a Sesame Street short that only aired once, and they immediately scrubbed it from the internet because the language in the video now doesn't sound very good. It is a completely and entirely innocent short, and actually, so I would love to watch that one too, actually. Oh, I don't know the name of the movie. Oh, I don't know it. Something Cleopatra? Something about Cleopatra, I think. Wait, no, that's a lie. That might have been a different one. There's so many. There's so many. The channel is Blame It on Jorge. I want to show the Sesame... No, you know what? I'm not going to show the Sesame Street short because the language is a little bit rough to listen to. But it is an entirely innocent short. It is the cracks short. The cracks in the walls. I just learned about that. And it's such a kind of really cute, but also a little bit eerie short that was on Sesame Street. I think aired only one time. And then they removed it, never aired it again. Do not plan on releasing it. However, we do have a copy of this particular short. The story of how it became known to be found is this one man remembered this short from when he was a kid, and he said it stayed with him. It kind of scarred him, and he thought about it every day for 30 years. He's 37 at the time that he's like on Reddit, and he's like, I need to find this short. I've been obsessing over it. I have to find it. And someone or some group anonymously reached out to him and were like, we can send you a copy, but you have to promise you will never show it to anybody online. You'll never put it online. And then the next day, which was a Sunday, that's important, he found it left in his mailbox, which means because it was a Sunday, they literally went to his home in person to leave it so that they could subtly tell him, we know where you live. And so he has a copy, and he claims to have showed it to like small friend groups. He's shown it to them, and he's done small screenings of it for other people. So supposedly other people have seen it, but the whole rule was he's not allowed to put it online. However, somebody else also tried to find this short, and they got reached out to by somebody that likely had worked at Sesame and had access to the archives, because theirs is supposedly a different version. The original guy apparently has a completely different version than the one that is currently online. But that sounds a little bit bogus to me. And now it is available online to watch. It is called, what is it called? Cracks? Sesame Street Cracks. It's about cracks in the wall of this little girl's bedroom, and she imagines them as animals. And I will not watch it on stream, just because there's a couple of phrases that in context are fine, but out of context, not so fine. And I don't really want to mess with that. But I'm gonna read you the plot of Kingdom of the Sun. What was originally supposed to be Emperor's New Groove, but then got entirely scrapped, and only very minor pieces of this original story still exist in Emperor's New Groove. Yzma is the same, basically. One of the characters is Pacha. I forget, that's his name in the original, right? What's his wife's name? Cusco has a different name in the original one. He did say he gave them the address, but they went in person to hand deliver it to him, which is creepy. Is it Pacha? Is that his name? With the poncho? What's his wife's name? Does anyone remember the character names from Emperor's New Groove? Because I don't. Not Kronk. Kronk also in this has a different name. essentially the same character, except his backstory is a little different. Actually, his whole story is a little different. Kingdom of the Sun was responsible for the Road to El Dorado being made as well. Interesting. It does give Road to El Dorado vibes, this original story. All right, we're all familiar enough with Emperor's New Groove, right? Doctor Who as a whole is a very interesting series. There's a lot of missing Doctor Who episodes that are lost media, which is cool. Paco? Is that his name? What is his name? Google. Pacha. Oh yeah, his name is Pacha in the original one. It is not Paco. It's Pacha. And his wife is Chicha. In the original writing, the wife is, well, not the wife, actually. The love interest, rather, instead, is Nina. Okay. We've all seen Emperor's New Groove. Are we ready to read what the plot of what was meant to be the Emperor's New Groove was originally? Kingdom of the Sun. Let me recap for anyone who just joined. Emperor's New Groove is made. Before Emperor's New Groove is Emperor's New Groove, there's an entire other plot that they had written out for a movie called Kingdom of the Sun, which they ended up reworking entirely into what ended up being now Emperor's New Groove. Very little things are the same. It is an entirely different story. It's a much darker story. The characters are a bit different. And the whole storyline of him getting turned into a llama happens in an entirely different way. So, Kingdom of the Sun, original story pitch. I read this the other night, and some of the writing is wrong, I think. Some of the sentences don't make full sense, and some of them I think just have the wrong word written. So I don't know who wrote it. And some of it I couldn't even figure out how to translate into what it was supposed to say. But who was the YouTuber? He did a whole iceberg on Lost Media, just like a surface level touching on the whole genre or like topic of Lost Media. The channel I got it all from is Blame It on Jorge. I fell down such a hole reading about these, and I was like, I want to watch all of the Lost Media. Suffering or Sorrow, thank you for subscribing. Okay. The original story pitch to Kingdom of the Sun. I might say all of the names wrong. In the beginning, the shadow god Supai had ruled the earth. Viracocha created the sun god Inti, who came and impressed him. I've already misread this. I also don't know if I'm saying any of those right. Viracocha created the sun god Inti, who came and imprisoned him deep in the earth. Inti then created the Incans, who built a city to keep Supai from escaping. Thus it became known as the Kingdom of the Sun. Kind of gives me Legend of Korra vibes, the whole idea of shadow god, light god. One gets imprisoned by the light god. Pacha is a simple llama herder who tells his flock that it is time for a cut. They're all scared, so he explains why it's important. They also have names for what all of the songs were going to be in the movie. That's how far along they got. Because all of these, as they explain what was a song number, they put in parentheses the title of the song. Pacha and his llamas discover a procession enter a secret passage to the sacred city with Snowball, his favorite llama having escaped, now part of their litter. So he lost Snowball in the crowd. That is entering a secret passage to the sacred city, the Kingdom of the Sun. Pacha tries to rescue Snowball, but is thwarted by the guards. Yzma, the high priestess, approaches soon-to-be Emperor Manco Capac. So Cusco, essentially, is Manco. To pick a llama to sacrifice. He chooses Snowball. After Yzma reminds Manco that he needs a bride, she sneaks out to her underground catacombs where it is revealed that she is in league with reviving Supai so that she can restore her beauty. Because we all know what Yzma looks like. In order to do this, she must kill Manco, who bears the mark of the sun. Pacha sneaks into the palace and sees Manco choosing his bride, Nina. He finds Snowball, but they are forced to hide as the sound of approaching footsteps and voices are heard. Yzma and Huaca, Kronk, prevent Manco from leaving to the tavern and force him to go to bed and lock his room. Manco and Pacha see each other and realize that they look the same. Entirely different from the original movie. They do not look anything the same. Pacha suggests switching places with Manco, and he agrees, allowing him to sleep in his bed while Manco goes into town with Snowball. While making the poison, Yzma spots Manco leaving and rushes out to catch him. He ends up at the tavern, and while he is distracted, Yzma poisons Manco, only to have accidentally given him a llama potion. Yzma still tries to kill Manco, who escapes into a llama pen, and Snowball becomes smitten with him. The only thing that gives him away is his birthmark. Meanwhile, Manco, Pacha, actually, is awoken by Huaca. I'm definitely saying that one wrong. Hukua. I'm going to keep saying Huaca because I don't know how it was supposed to be said the original way. And I'm not sure. I could just say Kronk. Pacha is awoken by Huaca, who is disappointed with the human race and suddenly discovers that he is not Manco. After Pacha explains himself, Huaca explains that if he goes through with the ceremony, he will give him 100 llamas. Okay. Yzma tires herself out searching for Manco and hears the coronation horns, forcing her to leave. Pacha is paraded out in town with his bride-to-be, Nina, who he immediately falls in love with, but she gives him the cold shoulder. Hukua, I think is actually how you're supposed to say it. Hukua tries to prevent him from talking. Manco sees the procession and is angry. He stops the parade by releasing the llamas into the crowd. Pacha hops down to help, something that shocks everyone, and he bursts out his pan flute to herd the llamas back in, including Manco. Hukua is angry at Pacha for defying the hierarchy and sends him back to his chambers. Okay. I got confused at that part when I was reading. We're all following. While Hukua combs the city for Manco, the llama, Pacha, who is pretending to be Manco, is called for the coronation banquet. He flees to the llama pen to get his llamas to leave, but the food is delivered to him. Yzma tries to kill Pacha, which fails until she spots Manco as a llama. She attempts to sacrifice him for the emperor, but Manco begins pushing new laws and ideas and demands that there should be no more llama sacrifices. Nina is impressed, while Snowball and the rest of the llamas chase Yzma away. She returns to Supai, who angrily gives her one more chance or else. Pacha and Nina begin to grow closer after they visit the Viracocha. This is spelled different than the first time they spelt it, so I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this one because whoever wrote it spelt it different both times. Pacha and Nina begin to grow closer as they visit the Viracocha stone. Manco overhears Nina's feelings and soon begins to feel bad about himself because Manco is supposed to marry Nina, but Pacha's getting along with her. Afterwards, Pacha and Nina confess their love. Also, Nina still thinks that Pacha is Manco. Hukua still searches for Manco. As Pacha and Nina come down the mountain, Pacha tries to tell her the truth, but they hear the sacrificial horns and realize that it is Yzma who has managed to capture Manco. They make it in time, and Pacha tells her to stop, but she refuses and rips off his sleeve to reveal that Pacha is a fraud and does not bear the mark of the sun. Scandal. Hukua arrives and claims that he was the one behind the switch, and Yzma humiliates him. Pacha gets dragged away by the guards, while Hukua spots the sun mark on the llama. He teams up with Snowball, and I don't know who he is. Whoever wrote this made it a little bit extra confusing. He teams up with Snowball, and they ride to rescue Manco. So Pacha teams up with Snowball, and they ride to rescue Manco just as the eclipse arrives. However, the heroes are too late, as Yzma has killed Manco, and she celebrates her victory by becoming younger. Supai arises from the ground to take over the world. However, Pacha refuses to give up, and Hukua prays to Viracocha, who transports him and Pacha to the Viracocha stone. They spelled it 2 different ways this time, too. Oh, I get it. I've just pieced together the part that was so confusing the first time I read this. Hukua arrives and claims he was the one behind the switch, and Yzma humiliates them. Yzma humiliated Hukua, which has made Hukua team up with Snowball to rescue Manco, and now is on their side. So Pacha and Hukua pray to Viracocha, who transports him and Pacha to the Viracocha stone, which turns into a real rope. This part I don't understand. It's a little confusing. The stone turns into a rope? I don't know. Pacha, with the help of everyone in the city, lassos Inti to come, the sun god, and destroy Supai. Yzma is reduced to dust and everything returns to normal. Manco is revived. He just actually literally was killed. It was a little bit darker. But he gets revived and made human again and bows to Pacha. He offers his crown, but he would rather return to his life as a llama herder. Pacha and Nina are wed and leave the city with a whole flock of llamas. And then some additional notes. Various alterations to the story include the addition of Mata a young female llama herder that Manco, who at the time had his name changed to Cusco, would have encountered and gotten help from. She would have served as his love interest, but it's unknown if Nina would have been removed from the story or remained due to him having his own love interest as well. Hukua, I think is correct. Hukua's position as a comical sidekick to Pacha and Cusco would have also been altered to him switching to Yzma's side due to him hating how the Emperor kept ignoring him. A musical number would have also been written for him. And that is the story of the Kingdom of the Sun, which eventually ended up becoming Emperor's New Groove. They decided it needed to take a completely different direction. Here it is. Development suffered from several attempts at trying to make the plot more original and also from a general lack of direction. Upper management felt the plot was too similar to any number of Prince and Pauper. I've never seen that one. But eventually they kind of scrapped most of the Kingdom of the Sun. By summer of 1998, it was apparent that Kingdom of the Sun was not far along enough in production to be released. At this time, one of Disney's executives, your film is this close to being shut down, they said. But eventually it ended up becoming Emperor's New Groove. Bro, I wanna watch this original one. I think it sounds so much cooler and so much better. I like how Nina gets involved in the story, who is not just Pacha's wife already at the beginning, but is one of the brides that Cusco is allowed to pick. Are there any screenshots from the film? I think so. There is one of Yzma dancing with a bunch of skeletons. She looks actually exactly the same in the original sketches for Kingdom of the Sun. So her character design doesn't seem to have been changed much from the original version. But did I get rated? Hey dudes! We're just reading about lost media, and I think it's neat and fascinating and interesting. And we just read the whole plot of the original pilot or plot line of Emperor's New Groove. I think that could be its whole own movie. Although I guess also I see how it's similar to Road to El Dorado, but slightly different. I don't know. I feel like it's almost different enough to be its own movie. Just get rid of the llama part. That's a little bit too much Emperor's New Groove. Me starting a podcast where I just read about lost media. I mean, I could watch I can't watch the iceberg video that I watched last night. It's an hour long. Also, a lot of the ones that are included in that iceberg, because it keeps getting deeper and deeper, I couldn't possibly watch that whole video on stream or even skip ahead, because there are some stories of lost media that I wouldn't even want ever mentioned on this channel. There are some very, very, very dark about real life people that I wouldn't want to cover, because it is very, very traumatic, and I don't think I'd want to. And I wouldn't know where in the video those pop up, because they kind of happen as he goes down the iceberg. The pieces of media become more and more obscure, but there's some really dark ones mixed in with the higher up. It's not a safe video to just skip through for me on stream, but I'll probably watch it again and then pick out the pieces of media that I can then go dive deeper into, because I think that it would be really, really, really cool. And one that I picked out that I thought sounded awesome was The Kingdom of the Sun. After I read the whole thing, they even have some of the songs lyrics written out here. Because there's a bunch of the songs. They had all the songs, all of what would be songs for the movie planned out. Pacha explaining to his llamas why they need a haircut had a song called Walk of the Llama Llama. Yzma killing Manco, it had a song called Snuff Out the Light. Pacha and Nina confessing their love for each other had a song called One Day She'll Love Me. I want to know what these are going to sound like. What were the lyrics going to be? I think those are the only ones that were planned, because I don't see any other songs in parentheses. There's a reprise to Snuff Out the Light after Yzma kills Manco and becomes younger again. I'm reading more of the page. There's the overhaul of it becoming Emperor's New Groove. And then there's a hashtag release the Allers Cut Movement campaign. Given the success of the campaign and release of Zack Snyder's Justice League 2021, Disney fans went to social media to demand the Allers version of the movie be completed and Sting's song restored. Did Sting was one of the songs in this movie by Sting? One of the songs in the movie was going to be by Sting. Various tweets on Twitter and videos on TikTok have surfaced of fans demanding such a cut be released. Could you imagine? I would love that. That'd be awesome. Yo. Sniff Out the Light was released. Oh, wait, really? Is that the one that was the Sting song? I'm not allowed to play it on stream, but that's sick. I think they had Sting on board for all the songs. This was so cool. Why'd they scrap it? Why did it get... I mean, Emperor's New Groove as it is also great movie. We love it. It's a good time. But this sounds cool. This sounds cool. Could have been cool. I want to read more about Lost Media. I don't have any others prepared for today, so I was just going to read Reddit posts. But I really wanted to read this one because I was like, after I read it, I was like, damn, that's cool. What else is there? There's a bunch of SpongeBob ones. Doctor Who episodes that were entirely lost. I don't think I remember too many other ones. I need to watch that whole hour-long video again, which I would be so down to do, and then just take little notes as I go to decide which ones are worth going deeper into and exploring more. Dude, it's cool. I want to watch the whole Lost movie. I think it was called Cleopatra, where like the church tried to remove it from existing, but it was found and exists now. I think there's also a movie. Here, wait, I remember one I could Google. Let me see. Oh, yeah. You're not the right one, though. Apparently there's an anime made of the same name as this movie. Here, let's go to the Wikipedia. Dude. Okay. So there was a movie. I'm trying to remember if I can remember the details of it off the top of my head. Let me see if this Wikipedia discusses it. Oh, man. You know what? I think I can find the YouTube video about this just specific movie that the guy made. The movie is called Metropolis. It is from 1927. And I forget how it happened that it was thought to be completely lost, never to be seen again. And I forget how or why it disappeared. Like, why did nobody have any copies of it? But they found one. Oh, I think so they made this movie Metropolis. That was from 1927. Somebody says that was a bit ago. And the original cut of the movie was lost. They ended up changing it and making a new cut because people didn't like it or something. And so they made a new cut. But there was an original cut of the film found before they made the changes. This is a German movie, and they found it in Argentina at some theater that didn't know they had the original cut and not the changed cut that was actively being released and shown around the world. This one theater in Argentina had the original, didn't know, they just were playing it that whole time, thought it was the only version, and somebody found it there in a museum, because I guess after enough time had passed, because I think it got found in 2008 in Argentina, and they found out the story of what happened to it. When they found it in 2008, it was incredibly damaged because of how much time had passed, and it had been played so many times by this guy in this one theater that didn't know he was playing the original cut and not just the only cut. And so when they found it, it was so incredibly damaged. It had been printed on film stock that just was not good. And they tried to restore the footage for years. Actually, it seems like only 2. 2 years they spent restoring the footage, and only about 95% of the original film could be restored, which is almost all of it. That's pretty good. But 5% could not be. There were a couple of scenes that were entirely missing because it was too far damaged. But they restored 95% of it. And so now you can go out and find the original cut of Metropolis sans these 2 scenes that couldn't be restored. But the funny part is that this German movie got found in Argentina in this one theater because this guy just happened to have that, and nobody knows why he had that version of it or how he got his hands on it, but he did, and was like, I'll play this in our theater. Didn't know what version of it was, because a lot of the lost media are like different cuts of things that will probably never get seen by people because they were either re-edited or ideas were changed. So it's a media that has existed or was out there in the world at one point or another, and most of them will never be seen again. That's so cool. Anyway, I don't know if that movie's any good, though. A movie from 1927. I don't know about you guys. I don't have it in me, ever, to watch a movie that's old. I can't get past the fact that it looks old most of the time, and it kind of just, I can't get invested in the story. I can't sit through it because it looks bad. But I've watched old movies and they're fine, but when they're so old, it's hard to get past how ugly it looks. It's really hard to get past the ugliness. There were a few in this video too about lost media that were cartoons that existed, and I remember watching them. You want to know one that's a lost piece of media that might blow your mind that I just remembered? As I talk about it more, I keep remembering pieces. The Backyardigans pilot. Do you know what I've seen this too, because I remember when it happened. Some of these I watched in the video and I was like, I saw that as a kid, definitely. The Backyardigans pilot was not an animated show. It was a live action show of people in suits. Did you know that? Because I did. I saw it when it came out at the time, I think. But the Backyardigans pilot, it's also considered a piece of lost media because they never aired it again, I guess, because it was live action. And eventually they were like, maybe this show works better as an animation and not as a live action with people in suits. Maybe it wasn't received very well. But I'm pretty sure you can find the pilot episode. In fact, I bet I could watch that on stream. The Backyardigans pilot, where it's not an animated show and it's just people in suits. It's cringy, though. And you can definitely see where it kind of got, like, Barney vibes to it. So, you cringe. What's it called? Backyardigans pilot. A lot of the lost media were pilot episodes of shows that, like, the pilot wasn't very good, and once they got, like, their footing by episode, like official episode 1 of season 1, most of these shows just kind of ditched the pilot. One of them being Drake and Josh, the pilot, was just like also a piece of lost media that was really hard to recover because I think they showed the pilot once, but then it kicked off the show with an episode 1, season 1 that was different from the pilot, and so no one ever saw the pilot again. But it exists, and that's also an episode that you can find, and it's got all the same characters, it's got the same actors, but it's considered lost media that was found because the pilot episode was just... Can I ask why you deleted one of your playlists on Spotify? I haven't deleted any. I haven't even privated any, so I'm not sure which one's missing that you were looking for. I did rename some. That might be what happened. I renamed some to different names that I felt fit better to the playlist, but I haven't deleted any or even privated any. The Backyardigans is a whole vibe. Wait, okay. Backyardigans pilot, 1988. 1998. It didn't come out in 1988. Ooh, there's a video on it. I'm kind of scared to watch. I want to see the pilot. Oh, you know what? I don't think it exists. That's why it's lost media. There is no full video of the pilot of the Backyardigans. There's just like some pictures and some clips, I think. The Bizarre Mystery of Me and My Friends, Lost Media. Wait, I don't know whose YouTube channel this is, but maybe we watched this about the Backyardigans pilot that is so creepy looking, by the way. The people in these suits. It's terrifying. I think I could probably just watch this, right? It's just talking about the Backyardigans pilot episode. And then also we can just go and read Am I the Assholes and Reddit posts and stuff. But I'm very curious about this video about the Backyardigans. Wait, there's an update on it too. Okay, all right. I'm gonna watch it because I'm curious. Let's see. I need to get things set up real quick because I wasn't prepared to show my screen today. Because I didn't know I would be doing that, but I'd like to. And okay. Who wants to learn about the Backyardigans pilot that is considered a piece of lost media? Do we find this interesting? Do we want to get into this? Okay, let's watch it. Does this apply to me too? Does this copyright disclaimer apply to me right now on stream? Should. I don't think this is it. Look at that quality though. That's some good quality. Also, I changed the sub goal to just be what we need to get to 2,000, but I'm going to hide that for right now.
On October 11th, 2004, Nickelodeon brought to life 5 kids who went on awesome adventures in their backyard. This show would grow to be infamous as one of Nick Jr.'s most beloved shows, known as the Backyardigans. But before you serve the steak, you have to kill the cow. So, let's take a look at that cow before it became the awesome series known as the Backyardigans. This is the mystery of me and my friends.
It's occurred to me, this might not even be about the pilot. It might be about a whole different episode. There you go. I assumed it was about the pilot. But what are the odds Backyardigans has a second episode, like a whole different episode that's also lost media? Okay. Sewer reviewer. There's an update on this too.
Hi, I'm Pablo. My name's Tyrone.
This show kind of slaps. Also, why does the music sound so good? That was the pilot? Okay, good. It is.
Without it being copyright striked, so I'll just
we can't play the songs.
Backyardigans was a Nick Jr. show that launched in 2004.
This is really quiet. Is it quiet for you too?
For 9 years and 4 seasons. This show actually ran pretty
I want
strong
it to be
and gave us some pretty amazing memes.
What's a fella got to do around here to get some apple juice?
Such a good meme. Why is the Backyardigans so good though? Quality content, good meme material. It's a bit quiet, but I kind of want it to be a little bit quiet. I'm scared. I don't know what's in this video. I haven't watched it before. Put it up a teeny bit. I regret it! I regret it! I put it up louder! Now you say sorry.
Regardless, the Backyardigans had an impact on my childhood, and maybe yours too. I was a young 2000s kid, so I grew up with these kinds of early childhood.
I was too old when this show came out to be like watching it as... Like if I was, I think I'm just a little bit too old, but I definitely have seen some of the episodes, and I remember the pilot.
Shows along with other gems that
because I am that old.
I am today. The Backyardigans focused on 5 kids going on some pretty cool imaginary adventures, like being cowboys or knights, and learning lessons along the way. The main characters were Pablo the penguin, Tyrone the moose, Austin the kangaroo, Tasha the hippo, and Uniqua, which was no specific animal, hence her name being unique. Pretty rad, right? I thought she was like an ant or something. The series was created by Janice Burgess and ran for 80 episodes.
Couch? They sold furniture?
A runtime of a standard 22 minutes. The series also follows a bit of a musical format involving a song in the episode apart from the intro.
Oh, there it is. All right, it's coming up. It looks insane.
Music was composed by Evan Lurie, who worked on a number of different things other than the Backyardigans, even working on another Nick Jr. show called Oswald. He was an octopus. The show was pretty baller, to be honest, but it
was pretty baller. That's not the pilot. That's the pilot. I don't know what... Is the rest of this also part of the pilot?
Action. This clip was released and everyone flocked to this mysterious
Look at his face. It looks so wonky.
The eyes move. If that isn't creepy...
Oh, the eyes move.
This was originally filmed in the Nickelodeon Studios, Florida, and was completed in September of
This is where Backyardigans started.
The whole pilot pitch was shot down by the network, probably because this looks low-key disturbing with weird lighting, props.
It's impressive.
Honestly, the newer
It's actually
version looks way more
impressive that they shot down this pilot, but still kept the concept of the show enough to release an animated version of it, rather than just being like, nope, next, onto a different idea entirely. They liked it enough to try an animated version, but definitely shot down the pilot, which was live action.
Kid-friendly. 7 years after the pilot was completed, Nickelodeon Studio Florida was shut down due to letting go of a large portion of the staff, which as far as I know had nothing to do with me and my friends, but I like throwing in a little bit of fun facts to spice things up.
Fun fact, they fired everybody, so they had to shut down.
A bunch of other big changes in this pilot other than the recording process.
Yeah, what was the rest of that
footage?
footage?
It was not called The Backyardigans. It was called Me and My Friends.
Oh, that was the name of the
There are 4
show!
characters in this clip. Pablo, Uniqua, Tasha,
Uniqua looks
and Tyrone. Austin
crazy.
is nowhere to be seen, and in fact, was never a part of the pilot to begin with. This is why he's referred to as the new kid on the block, since he was new to the series and didn't know the characters prior to quote-unquote moving there. The pilot also includes...
Why are they so scary?
called the...
Is anyone else, though, just inherently afraid of people in suits like that? Like, if you were ever at Chuck E. Cheese, or if you were ever at a place that had people in big suits, I would run away. I would literally, and had literally ran away from them before. I had my own birthday party. Ooh, here's a fun story. I had my own birthday party. I must have been like 11 at this roller skating rink called Skaters World. That's where we'd go and rollerblade. And I had my birthday there once. It was like the biggest deal because I've never had a big birthday party like that before where I was allowed to have it at a venue. That's rich people stuff. But I got to have one at Skaters World, and there was their mascot. They had a mascot, and for the birthday parties, they'd get the mascot guy to come out, and he went into the center of the roller rink, and he got the microphone, and he was like, "There's a few birthdays here today," and me being one of them, obviously. And he was like, "Come on out here with me." And I was so scared. I didn't know they were going to do that. I didn't know there was a mascot even at Skaters World. And so all of the people I invited to my birthday party were like, she's over there, she's over there. Because he's got like the other 4 kids whose birthday parties were happening that day. And I, very impressively, I might add, being an 11-year-old, and I loved rollerblading, specifically blades, the inline skates, not the 2-and-2. I was pretty good at it too, not gonna lie. That was like my thing at that age. In fact, side story, I liked it so much, I would try to invite my friends to roller skate with me or rollerblade with me, and they'd be like, I don't really have those, kids don't really do that. That's a weird thing to ask, but I can come and ride my bike, because everyone had a bike, but nobody had rollerblades. And I was like, do you want to come over and rollerblade? And everyone was like, no, we don't do that. But I did, and a lot. So what I did at this birthday party, when they tried to, everyone's pointing where she is, I was, how at a roller rink, there's the sides, kind of also like an ice rink, you have the sides that you can hold on to, and they're only about like 4 feet high, maybe, somewhere around there. I skated down, like really low to the ground, like I was crouched and skating, and I sped my way so fast to the bathroom that I slipped between people. I slid around groups and through crowds straight into the bathroom and hid. But not gonna lie, really impressively done that I even had the capability at 11 years old to do that so that I could hide. And then my friends tried to help, and they told the mascot, they were like, "Oh, she's gone already, she left." And then over the microphone, he's like, "Oh, she left? Okay, well, we can continue then." But I was in the bathroom. And then after they were done, I came out. But if it wasn't for my rollerblading skill, I would have never made it out of there. They totally would have caught me if I couldn't have done that. I was a pro. Anyway, back to the video. That didn't work. Uh-oh.
Meerkats. Their roles were unknown.
No!
There were 3 of them.
What are
all
those?
more meerkat, and 2 unnamed ones.
Anyway, yeah, hate
Honestly, I feel
mascots
like
and
I
people in
resonate
suits
with
like
this
that.
Because, you know, just look at those faces. The 4 main characters also had a
I was a varsity bowler and a pro rollerblader. Do you get why I was picked on now? Do you get why I didn't have friends and I got bullied? It's all starting to make sense now. The varsity bowling was later. That was much later in high school, obviously, and this was when I was 11. But, yeah, this is why I had a hard time making friends. Makes sense.
few different designs, such as stripes of Tyrone's shirt being yellow and blue instead of red and blue. Unique, well, also having visible nostrils, so now she kind of looks like a pig. Pablo's hat is a different color. And Tyrone and Tasha's nostrils
Well,
are
honestly, that was all I wanted to show. I don't think there's a whole lot more
This
to
piece of
the...
media has never been seen by the public.
There, that's what I wanted to
Only
hear.
known public
There is
footage of it
no
is that clip, which is only like 2 to 3 seconds.
full episode to
Even
be
more
seen,
limited
so it's
is the
considered
fact
lost
that the
media.
video has no audio to go with it either.
There's
So
only
that's
that
a
clip
bit of
with
a
no
drag.
audio. Wow.
Some people don't even know if Nickelodeon even has the footage of the pilot, since they're
A lot of the issues with the found and or lost media, because a lot of them, a weird amount of them, are held by Nickelodeon specifically. There's a whole iceberg of its own about just Nickelodeon's lost media on its own, and a lot of it isn't entirely lost, like it could not ever be recovered. A lot of it is in their hands that they just refuse to give to anybody, or they have given it to people. Some of the lost media that came from Nickelodeon were actually given entirely to the people who made some of the shows that they decided to tank, get rid of, go a different direction. But the people who hold those episodes, movie, whatever it happens to be, that piece of media, still can't show it because Nickelodeon will strike it down anyway. So, yeah. Unfortunately, it's such a weird, like a large amount of lost media is just in Nickelodeon's hands. And I don't think they'll ever release the ones that people are asking for, because why would they? They don't get to make money from it. It doesn't benefit them, so they probably just will sit on it forever. Because it could only possibly benefit the person who made it, and or the people who are cult fans of these weird pieces of lost media that people just want to see it.
original recording studio was shut down. The only place it could exist is with the creators or within Nick's archives.
There you go. I could have just let him say it. Because a lot of it does
The first
exist.
thing I looked for was Nick Animation and sent them an email.
Did he
That
find
was
it? No
literally weeks
way.
ago, and
Wait,
no
there's an
response.
update, so maybe he did.
So then I had a new goal: the puppeteers. You see, there
'Cause
had
there
to
were
be actors
puppets
who
on the
played
show,
roles of
the live
backyardigans,
action
people
show.
who were actually in the costumes, but since they're unknown, I have no idea how to get to them. I tried to contact the company who allegedly made the suits, yet I got no response. But remember the characters I mentioned called the meerkats?
They're not
They were
even-
actual puppets,
they don't even
and
look like
their
meerkats.
puppeteers
They
were
don't
actually
look like a
known.
meerkat at
I
all.
set out to contact the 3 puppeteers. I emailed all 3 people in one afternoon and waited. Within the same night, I got an email from the agent of Jennifer Barnhart, one of the meerkat puppeteers. She said she would forward my email to Miss Barnhart, which ultimately made me happy. About a couple of hours later, I had gotten back from the
I wanna
convenience
have
store to buy
something be
bread and
found.
make grilled cheese, and I had an email from another puppeteer. This made me even more happy. The email was from Rick Lyon, a very famous man in the puppeteer business.
Oh,
This is what
famous
he had to say.
puppeteer.
Tyler, that photo is from my website. Yeah.
The photo. Yes, I worked on it. I don't. Oh, he just reads it. Let me just
Yes,
let him
I
read it.
worked on it. Yeah, prior to this, I had actually sent him a picture of the meerkats.
Wait, I'm just gonna read it. I don't think I'd call it lost media. It was an in-house pilot for Nick. It never aired publicly, so it's not really lost. That's what lost media is, though. It's pieces of media that exist in the world, but are unlikely to be seen by any people's eyes at this point in time or ever again. So it is media that exists, but is considered lost because it won't ever be available for people. Although it could become available if you just let us see it, maybe. Yes, it was essentially a live-action puppet and costume character version of what became the animated series The Backyardigans, but the meerkat characters did not get used in Backyardigans. That was many years ago, so I don't remember much more about it, other than what's on my website, which is very little. We shot it at the now-defunct Nick Studios in Florida. I never saw the finished product. All the best, Rick, sent from a galaxy far, far away.
And it was the same thing that was on his website, and I kind of feel dumb. Kind of, yeah. I don't think I'd call it lost media. It was an in-house pilot.
I'm going to skip because I just read
the
all
meerkat
that.
characters.
I just
feel
wanted
like an
to,
idiot
I just
because
wanted to
sent
get
him
to it.
A photo of himself. The same photo that was on his website. I didn't even think to explore his website. So that's a big brain dummy moment. But what he said is very intriguing.
That's
He said that he
suspicious.
never saw the finished project, which means that maybe the other puppeteers didn't either. The fact that
That
it
means
was many
that
years
definitely
ago also
Nickelodeon's
meant that
probably
chances
got
of
it
people
locked away
remembering it was
somewhere in
slim.
their
But regardless,
archives.
I kept my hopes up.
Sometimes,
I still had 2 other gears of this machine to rely.
Unfortunately, they even just delete some of this stuff from their archives. Although a surprising amount of lost media is just actually out there in different corporations' archives. They exist somewhere in a stored digital space because a lot of them don't believe in just utterly destroying it, so they just kind of put it somewhere to never be seen again. But
On, and I wasn't stopping here. Fast forward into later that night. I'm laying in bed finishing up some online school
I want to
assignments
see
when
this
I get a
go
Discord
somewhere.
notification.
I need
I
it
checked in the
to.
Lost Media Discord to see that a channel, which I'm a very big fan of, is offering to help me. That channel is L Supersonic Q. He had actually done a video about the subject, which unfortunately was taken down, but I've linked a re-upload in the description, so obviously I was ecstatic.
Nickelodeon's
Explain
trying
how
to shut
past
down
research
people
is
talking about the
important, but provided
Backyardigans.
a lot of information. I researched it a lot and made a video that I posted to my channel back in 2018. Most of the information available.
Are they gonna
only
come from
came
me
the
trying to talk about it
Backyardigans
now,
wiki
too?
Because not much is known about it.
These
aside
people
from
that
the
try
short
to
clip of
recover
the
lost
Nickelodeon
media just go
Florida
missing.
video,
They
which
just
you've
start
probably
disappearing
seen
because
already.
Nickelodeon's taking
Rick
them out.
Lion was contacted by a lot of people, and as you know, confirmed he doesn't have it. I tried to contact Janice Burgess, who created the show, but I couldn't find her contact info anywhere. The studio that made the costumes, called Yvette Helen Studios or something similar, but I don't think they had any traces of that in their archives. So I think currently the only suspected place where it could be is inside Nick's archives, based on a small award plaque that can be seen in an image of Nick Studios, proving that they valued it to some
Autocorrect
extent.
put no wait.
There's also
Closed
this
captions put
controversial
Nick's
thing
the
that
makeup
happened with
company
someone who
instead of
worked on the
Nickelodeon.
CGI pilot, where someone sent him death threats, and his lawyer got a copyright strike on my channel until I took the video down, as it was suspected to be the source of the threat.
Should I not be talking about this? Should we not be trying to recover the pilot of the Backyardigans? Why is someone... What's hidden in that pilot episode? What's in there that they don't want us to see? Uh-oh.
I don't know who that employee is, since I was never able to find him, and I don't believe he worked on me and my friend's pilot specifically, but keep in mind, there's someone out there who will probably get very defensive and angry if you end up finding him and asking him about anything Backyardigans related.
Oh, it was just that man specifically
Imagine
that got
how
found and
pitiful
did not
you'd
want to
have
be found.
To send death threats about the Backyardigans.
That's what I'm
Anyways,
saying.
This provided a lot of information for me, since past explorations have turned up nothing. However, the idea of contacting people who worked on the CGI show interested me. Obviously, I wasn't going to send them death threats because who the fuck actually does that, but I had a new idea in mind. I thanked L Supersonic Q for his contribution and proceeded on. The next person I decided to contact was director Mike Shell, who is a director for the first and second season of The Backyardigans. I shot him an email and continued looking for people to contact. About an hour or so later, I received an email from one of the Meerkat Puppeteers' agents, the one for Jennifer Barnhart.
She has no recollection of this project. How do you just forget a whole thing that you did? How does that happen to you? Communicating with Jen, unfortunately, she's not going to be of much help. She has no recollection of being on the Backyardigans pilot. How do you forget that you were a puppeteer? I guess because you only did the pilot and it never went anywhere. Do you really do that many projects that don't go anywhere that you just forgot about one entirely that you were a part of? A meerkat puppet in a pilot for the Backyardigans that never aired? They wiped her memory.
Fortunately, she wouldn't be able to be of much help, as she
She doesn't remember doing it.
Is that what happened? Another dead end. I began to search more, but it was hard to find people
That's so
who worked on
funny.
this stuff. I had reached a point where information on Wikipedia for the Backyardigans couldn't help me. So I
But-
shot over to IMDb to check
And
out
then,
who was
what
available.
happened?
I found somebody named Mick Paul Smith and shot them in.
That's two last names. What do you mean?
I wasn't done yet. You see, I had been writing the script for a month and decided to just kill a whole nest of birds with one stone. God,
Don't do
that
that.
is morbid. I knew that even contacting just one
That person
would
has
be a
two
long
last
shot,
names.
but
I'm just
I'd have
wondering.
to risk it.
What does that
Later
even
on
mean?
during the day, I received an email from Mick Paul Smith.
What is that name? It's two last names.
Hello, Tyler. I don't know much more about me and my friends than you do. I do know that the idea and characters were created by Janice Burgess, who was then a production executive for Nick Jr.
I want to read it instead because I'm going to read it faster. I don't know much more about... Wait, I don't even know who this person was. Oh, just somebody that he found linked on IMDb for having worked on this show at all, or the pilot, rather. I don't know much more about me and my friends than you do. I do know that the idea and characters were created by Janice Burgess, who was then a production executive for Nick Jr. I was working at Nickelodeon from mid-1998. My job was editorial director for on-air promotions, so I knew Janice and her boss, Brown Johnson. Why does that man also have 2 last names? What? Am I crazy? But I never knew Me and My Friends existed until 2001, and maybe it was late 2000 when they decided to make an animated version and asked me to script the pilot. Later, I took a year off from my real job at Nick to be head writer for season 1 of The Backyardigans. Then I continued to write lyrics for subsequent seasons after I went back to the on-air promos department. But that's all Backyardigans info, not Me and My Friends info. I believe Janice had already decided to change the show's name to The Backyardigans by the time she told me about it in 2000 or 2001, so I didn't even know they'd shot in Orlando, but that makes sense. It's fun to see these images. I'm not sure what that last shot is with the 3 puppeteers holding 3 characters, but they don't appear to be the Backyardigans, Me and My Friends characters. I do know that the middle puppeteer in that photo is named Rick Lyons. He did a lot of different puppetry on a lot of Nick's shows. I don't know any of the other people, and those aren't the people that can help us anyway, because we already know because we've talked to them. One of them doesn't remember doing it, and the other one didn't have any other additional information to help. Why do all these people have 2 last names for names?
I was working at Nickelodeon for a job at Nick told me about it.
See how much faster I read that?
Boss. It turns out that she worked on Sesame Workshop. So it was pretty probable that she had
requirements to work at Nick have 2 last names
the only public
and no first names.
That being the Sesame Workshop, hoping that they would respond. Now all I had to do was wait.
It's a lot of waiting. There's a lot of dedication.
Thank you for reaching out and thinking of Sesame Street. We are honored that you would think of us to assist in your research project. Unfortunately, Brown Johnson no longer works at Sesame, so we cannot help with your request.
Oh man, Sesame Street also culprit of lost media.
Best of wishes, the Sesame Workshop Speakers Bureau.
If there was one piece of lost media that I would recommend you go watch that I won't watch on my stream, it is that Cracks short, because I think that it's, and the whole video about it, because it's actually a really cute, wholesome short. It's very lovely. I like the woman who does the narration. She does it in like half singing, half talking, and it's a minute long. It's really, really actually short, and it's really cute. Although apparently disturbed this one man for so long that he went on a 30-year crusade to find it, and did find it. But Sesame Street also, just sometimes they have clips that don't age very well for reasons that weren't because they did anything wrong in the first place, but just language, the way that it evolves. They needed to stop showing it, but it's so cute. It's really cute. There's probably a lot more to Sesame Street and lost media as well.
It's been almost 2 months since I've started this investigation. I've contacted tons of people who could have possibly been involved, but with no.
We're nearing the end, which makes me think that this ends nowhere. But then there's an update video.
Yes, but still nothing. What does it mean for something to be lost? Never to be found, but once in possession. I discussed this topic with a bunch of people during this video.
That's the thing that's the most frustrating about lost media, is that it is not actually lost because people have it. They just don't want us to have it.
Such as friends, colleagues, people who worked on the Backyardigans, and even family members who had no clue what I was talking about, and came to a realization. CGI and live action are 2 completely different departments. There's no way that any animators could help, or storyboard people. There would only be 2 groups who would help. Editors and creators, and the music department, which, as we know, for it. This was all about the journey rather.
Okay, yeah, that's it. But update.
Before we start off this video, I just
you
wanted
got
to
your
thank
audio
everyone
issues
involved
sorted.
with the search team. This includes both the members of the server and members of Lost Cast. Without everyone who helped on this so far, we wouldn't have made the progress we're about to cover in this update. So, thank you all so much, and without further ado, let's begin.
Cool.
A few months ago, I covered a topic that
Some lost media, though, I will say, after I've watched the entire iceberg about it, some of it should stay lost. Some of it is not meant to be seen by other people and should stay that way.
blew up in popularity, and I thank that specifically for the growth of my channel. The topic was a pilot pitch called Me and My Friends, and it was a predecessor
I was
to
like,
the
do I have to skip?
Backyardigans.
I want to get to
This is my
the
first video on the
meat
subject.
of the
It
issue.
surprisingly
The
led down a path that
juice.
even I have trouble explaining. So, why don't you just sit back and relax, take out a coloring book because you deserve to have some cool fun. Don't worry about all those school assignments because I know you can do them, and settle in because today we're bringing you an update to the Me and My Friends pilot search.
We're watching about the Backyardigans pilot because it's lost media
boy.
and
So
no one's
we're
ever
going to go
seen
in
it.
chronological order because
And then
I'm
there's
going to
me
have a
who
stroke
thought
if
that
we
I
don't.
had seen it before,
I'm
but
going to
apparently
start
I
this
must not
at
have.
the
I must
day
have had a
I
fever
uploaded the
dream
video,
about them
which
being
was
in these
actually one of the worst
live
things of my
action
life.
suits.
I went to hang out with the Cruise sewer reviewer in downtown Dallas. See, that wouldn't have been a problem had we not gotten on the wrong train and ended up in downtown Fort Worth. It was there that we got in trouble with a police officer, walked over a mile to find a McDonald's, got on the wrong bus, and didn't get home until around 9 p.m. But hey, my video blew up. I actually remember that my friend had told me it hit 1,000 views, which was a lot for me then, and I was pretty excited. I remember that moment specifically because I was sitting on a bus bench and right underneath it was a dead squirrel, which made me freak out literally 5 seconds after. Anyways, within the same week, I'd found out that my video had actually exploded with popularity, and people were talking about this topic again. It turns out that the last time anyone had talked about this was 2017. Consequently, a search team formed from that. I was sent an invite from L Supersonic Q to join a search server on Discord. Anyways, everyone mentioned here will stay anonymous
skip.
because I don't want them getting hunted down over a
I
stupid
want to
pilot
just.
pitch from
We
the
already
90s.
watched the original.
So, we had a few leads and decided
Okay.
to pursue them. So,
We've got some
how did we get some of
leads.
these leads? Well, what we did was look back at the search and look at contacts who never replied and tried finding stuff relating to them. This was actually pretty good, and we were able to track down about 3 people from this. However, nobody of that bunch remembered anything regarding the pilot.
Do they
Once
have
again,
the
we were
episode
stuck.
or what?
Our small group consisted of 5 members when we started. It was me, L Supersonic Q, Ultra Christ,
They
King
do.
Mr. Harvey,
They have
and
more
Riff.
footage.
I
and
give a list of
photos
everyone who was in
from
the
this.
server, but there were around 20 people or so.
It had to be something worth making an
Plus,
update
I
video.
left it. Anyways, we hit a roadblock and we're just kind of chilling. On the server, someone suggested looking at the Backyardigans wiki for any sort of leads. This turned out to be an
This is
amazing
the-
idea,
Me and my
as
friends'
we were able to
community
track
has
down
their own
2 people
Discord.
who worked on the animatronic heads. While they had no information about
Wait,
the
there were
pilot
animatronic
itself,
heads? I
they
thought there were
able
people
to
in
direct us to
suits.
someone who had a bit of information. Through this lead is
Five
where
Nights
the
at
joke
Freddy's
of the
moment? Were they
unique
both?
Springlock incident of 1998 joke originated, as we found out that during the filming of the pilot, one of the animatronic heads broke, as the fiberglass inside one of the heads couldn't withstand all the moving animatronic parts. Anyways, while we were waiting for a response from
Were
that
they
lead,
animatronics
something
or-
else
or
happened.
were there
I was
people
actually live
inside?
streaming one night, and we were discussing pieces of lost media.
Is this real
A
life?
user by the name of Jen had contacted me, informing me that they had new info on me and my friends. At first, I thought it was a small kiddo messing around with me, so I told them to send whatever new information they had regarding me and my friends. Now, what happened next, I didn't expect. They actually came through, and it was
That's
through
terrifying.
that I had discovered new images, and they have never been seen before.
They can't share the images? What do you mean you can't share them? Since we're unable to share these images, here are the descriptions. One has the meerkats with a frog. One has the meerkats opening their mouths and showing tongues. One has the frog alone. May or may not be a me and my friend's puppet. Why can't you show them?
I should also
Show
say
me!
now that I do not have copies of those pictures, and we do not have permission to share them.
Man,
And yeah, so
even is the
Jen Penn was
point?
invited to join our search team
What's
to
the
help
point
us
then,
out, and
dude?
we welcomed it. Jen Penn had actually been involved in the search before and had gotten those images from the production coordinator of the project. A lot of the search was mainly waiting on leads to get back to us. Some would do it in a day, others would do it in a month. Eventually, I think it was around a month or 2 after the initial contact with our big lead individual that we received a response, and it was that response that gave us the new images. Now, if you haven't seen these images yet, they'll be put up on screen and each will be elaborated on. The first picture is of the actor in the Pablo suit. I won't disclose his name, but he has been identified. If you do figure out who he is, do not contact him. He doesn't have anything to say about me and my friends. No, it's not some specific weird reason of secrecy. He literally just has nothing to contribute to the discussion. You can see in the background of the picture that there's a green screen.
so
Not
they
sure if
are
that's related
people
to
in
anything.
suits.
The second picture
With
is
animatronic
on set,
heads,
which is
'cause the
interesting
eyes
because
move
it is
to the
believed
heads,
that
so
rehearsals
there's
for this production were actually done in New York. So, all
mechanisms
these pictures must have been
inside?
taken the day of production. But don't quote me on
And
that, though. I believe that this...
They really had an incident of one of the heads breaking and fiberglass pouring into the rest of the suit on a person? Did we know about this? Because how have people been watching and playing Fazbear for Five Nights at Freddy's with that whole incident, and there was an actual literal real life incident like that? The bite! It's the bite. This was a real thing that happened. How did nobody know about this when, like, Five Nights at Freddy's was a big deal? Did people know? Because it's lost media and nobody knew about this episode, and that there was an incident with an animatronic head breaking while a person was inside. Are they okay? I feel like they really... Is it just me? Did they just kind of breeze past that and not even acknowledge the fact that they're acknowledging the fact that an animatronic head broke while a person was inside and it poured fiberglass everywhere? And what happened then next? What happened to them? He didn't elaborate on that at all. I want to know.
The Uniqua head that we were actually seeing is the head that broke during production.
Oh.
Although I could
I should have let him continue.
be very well wrong. You can see a boom mic person in the background, as well as Tyrone's actress without her head. More on that later.
Is she okay?
The third picture is an
We'll learn it
unidentified
later.
Nickelodeon employee
I need
with
to
some sort of
know.
device next to Tyrone. On the ground is a
does it
prop
look like
toy
it's a
that seems
doctor
to have a
doing a
connection with
thing on his
Tyrone
face?
in some of the images. The set is the same as the Nickelodeon Studios Florida video.
Yeah, it's not the worst
Here
looking.
we have Uniqua.
That one's the
full-body
worst looking,
shot.
actually.
She has no knees. Something
She
interesting
has
here
no
to note
knees.
is the employee wearing bags on his shoes as to not scuff the flooring of the set.
So they're wearing this big suit with like this big body on top of also carrying around this head, which is, look at, compared to a human head, which has electronics and mechanisms in it for, I guess, only for the eyes to blink and fiberglass and things. How are they holding that up? Is that not like a lot of pressure on your head and on your shoulders and your neck and stuff? That feels like it'd be heavy if it's got fiberglass and moving parts. And it's so big. What is this made of? Also, James, thank you for the 50. Thank God it's Friday. Well, for me anyway. Oh, yeah, it's not Friday for me. It's only Thursday still. I'll watch the stream later. Thank you. Guest Trash, thank you for the Prime. And Malik, thank you for subscribing. Only Mushu, thank you for subbing. T Phoenix, thank you for subbing. Kinda Lorraine, thank you for subbing.
We have a prop of the Uniqua self-portrait. I believe that through these props, we may be able to determine the plot of the pitch. The fifth picture is a team of employees fixing the inner workings of the Uniqua suit. Once again,
God.
I believe that this is a suit that broke while filming. You can see how it works from the inside. Here's
That
an
had to have
employee,
been heavy.
also shown in the previous image, with
Good
Tyrone.
thing they decided not to
Tyrone
go with
has
live
the
action.
prop
That
toy
looks like
again.
people would have
Nothing
just
much to
gotten
say
hurt.
about this one. The guy's just thrilled to meet Tyrone, I guess. The seventh picture is Pablo Drip. Here we have the actors and actresses without
There's
their
something funny
costume
about
heads.
headless.
As you can see, Tyrone was
suits.
played by a woman. She's been identified and doesn't have much to add to the search. In this picture, they're holding custom-made flags made from basic household objects like paper towel rolls and construction paper.
I would do that.
Tyrone's prop is on the suit.
I would do that.
The eighth picture is a full-body suit image of Pablo. Behind him, there looks to be
That comparison of how big this suit looks when you can see the actual human inside of it and the size of their head compared to, look how tiny this body looks compared to the head here. Big little person inside, not even like just a regular sized man probably, but looks small compared to the size of this suit. Put the head on, that body suddenly looks tiny. That was a massive head. Huge.
ninth and final image is a full cast picture with a lady who's been contacted and
Cute, though.
recognized. This is the most popular new image as it showcases each character.
So we did get some
and
images
their
that we
full
were
body.
able to look
I
at.
noticed there was a
No one
lack
will
of
ever
Tasha
probably
in
see
these
the full
images.
pilot, though.
The background has a sandbox, something we hadn't seen yet. And yeah, those were the images. After the release of the images, we were kind of left in a strange place. However, one individual from the Discord server came to help, that person being General Warturtle. Warturtle had been
Oh, yeah,
observing
there's-
the page
no,
for me and my
that's the
friends
same
on the
clip.
Backyardigans fandom site when
Well,
they
I've-
noticed a descriptive word for one of the meerkats. Obviously intrigued, Warturtle
just
reached
skimming.
out to find who made the edit to describe the meerkats. The edit turned out to be an assumption, but it did lead us further into this, as we now had contact with two admins of the fandom site. Now enters Melodith's and Sandra's. Guys, please forgive me if I butchered that, I'm so sorry. These two admins were expertly skilled in the search, and that's where we all learned that this search dated further back than 2017, and in fact reached all the way back to 2015. They had heard about the pilot in the Nickelodeon Studios Florida video as well, however their search was a lot more intensive. Although they were never able to reach Janice herself, the two were able to find a lot more credible individuals such as production coordinators and even the biggest lead. I will keep their name and role role a complete secret, but all we had to do was hope that this lead would get back to us. In fact, they had gotten back to our two admins before regarding the search. They had said important information that I will now read. However, certain names and private
I
information
will now read
be
because I
censored.
read faster.
Uniqua and Tyrone were played by two actresses from New York who were close
Never
friends.
mind, this is fast,
Tyrone's
actually.
actress was named I don't remember her last name, unfortunately. She said she had photos of herself on set, but she never got around to sending them. Pablo was also played by He didn't
Sounds
have
like
any
they're swearing.
photos and didn't remember much about it. He performed loads of costume characters for Universal, and it was a short gig for him. The costume design team was
Redacted.
all of
Just
them
a lot of
responded.
beep.
Had photos, had one photo that was already
Oh my
online,
goodness.
and didn't have anything.
Oh my gosh, so much of it's
Puppeteers
secret.
were-
Why'd you have to
remembered
put the
some
beep? It's
details,
so
but
hard on the
only
ears.
had one photo, which was on his website. The other three responded, but didn't have anything. The was Melodious and I both talked to her, and I butchered that
Sounds
again.
like
I'm
they're
so sorry. She had a tape and
censoring
she called
explicit
it footage of
things,
the presentation.
but it's just people's
Melodious
names.
asked her the story of me and my friends, and she said she didn't remember and never watched her own tape. It boggled our minds.
It's almost over.
She had a tape of it and never bothered to watch it. She didn't respond.
I wanna see the tape!
Emailed her.
Show
For
me
the
the
second
tape.
pilot, we got in touch with a whole team of animators. We got to see 3 close to the animation, we put 1 online, and some still frames. We also got in touch with Uniqua's dancer, who showed us footage of the motion cap studio.
So yeah, we had a really big lead, and now you're pretty much caught up event-wise. We're still waiting to hear back
That's it.
from this big lead regarding the footage of the presentation. However, there's no guarantee they will respond. As for the search, we have everything under control. Please don't go out of your way to locate these people and contact them. That could easily ruin the search and make things a Uniqua portrait. I believe that the plot was to teach kids how to express themselves. I believe that the
I don't
Meerkats
care
could
what
have
the
taught
plot
the kids
was.
how to make the
I
flag.
want to hear more about the incident where the head exploded and just fell into pieces of fiberglass on a person who was also inside the half animatronic suit. How is not that never? I've never heard of that before, and it's literally part of the plot to Five Nights at Freddy's, where the suits were both animatronic and had people in them at the same time, and then an incident occurred. But okay, that's all the lost media on the Backyardigans pilot. There is no further update from anything regarding that supposed footage that also still exists, but the pilot itself, gone, lost forever. But, you know, let's read, Am I the Assholes? I don't know any other found footage or found, or lost media kinds of things from that whole post that I watched. I'm going to rewatch the whole hour-long video and pick out the ones that I think would be interesting to dive into more, because I thought the Kingdom of the Sun one was definitely worth diving into more and reading the whole original plot to Emperor's New Groove. That was cool. I'm just going to replay FNAF after this. No, because I did on stream watch almost all of the... Not even almost all. I started watching all the game theory videos and going through all the lore. I had to stop. There's too much of it. I already pretty much know it anyway, but we did that already. We've done that. You know, Lisa, I know. Thank you for subscribing. There more footage on the channel? Wait, on the same channel? Did you find the video? Oh, they have new images, but that's it. Oh, wait, this is the same one. That's the update video, I think, that I just watched. Oh, no, there's another update. But it doesn't have any footage. It just has more images, which I don't care. I want to see the pilot. I want to see the actual pilot. I want to hear more about the incident, too. His whole channel does have other lost media thing, though. 10 lost pieces of Lego media. What other things? 10 lost advertisements and promos. Sounds fun to read. I want to watch these ahead of time, though, so I know what kind of content and like context to some of these advertisements and how, whether they are too dark or not. So I'll probably watch those and then show you the cool ones if there are cool ones. But this is a fun channel now that I will watch more of the lost media stuff on because it's cool. But we can read Am I I the Assholes for a little bit, and then I'm gonna go. You're gonna play Cult of the Lamb. I do want to play Cult of the Lamb because we can all do that one together. And that would be fun. You get to participate in it in some way. I don't know fully how the game works. I haven't watched any of it, but I was told that there is a way for like chat on stream to be involved and affect the game and participate. And so that sounds like it could be really fun. Probably, I think. Oh wait, I gotta bring back the jazz. Music. Cool. Back to the jazz music, and we'll do a little bit of reading, because that's all the lost media that I can speak about this time. Is that going to be the story game you'll play soon? I think actually I want to play What Remains of Edith Finch first. I kind of really want to play that soon, I think. Alright, let me skim through. Actually, I did find an Am I the Asshole that came across my Tumblr, which is always fun because that means that they did so well or were so controversial at the time that they were on Reddit that they also got reposted elsewhere. So I want to read those ones always whenever I see one floating around on Twitter or on Tumblr. That means something controversial or something about it made it start circulating on other places other than just Reddit. That means something juicy happened in here. So I want to read this one. Am I the asshole for asking my stepfather to pay rent to live in a house that I own after he asked me to pay rent once I turn 18? I'll be 18 in a couple of months. My stepfather of 5 years gave me the heads up that I need to start paying a fair rent to continue living in the house after I turn 18. The house we currently live in belonged to my dad, who died when I was 6. My mom and dad were never married, and I inherited the house, and my mom and I lived here, and then my stepfather moved in after they got married. Oh my God, this isn't even his house. Looks like my stepfather was under the impression that my mom owns the house. I told him that it's not happening as I own the house. He laughed at me and didn't believe it. I talked to my mom, and she confirmed that she never told him that I own the house. He now knows the truth. So the reality is, he believed it was completely fair to ask me to pay rent when he didn't know I own the house. So it's only fair that I ask him to pay me rent now. Last night I gave him the heads up that if they continue planning to live here after I turn 18, that's fine, but they need to start paying rent. Oh man, his mom's getting roped into this and she didn't even do anything. My stepfather believes this is unfair as it's a sudden change and he needs more time, and that I'm being heartless because you don't do this to family. And where was that when he was asking you to pay rent when you turn 18? Why do parents get this like mindset that they need to suddenly become incredibly strict on a kid that has just turned 18, which effectively means nothing in like actual personness? That's the same person. They don't become, their brain doesn't change in any way, shape, or form after a year. Their situation hasn't changed at all, except for the fact that they're now legally considered an adult. But why do you do this? Well, he was prepared to do this to me, so what's the difference? He said he did it to help me gain my independence and prepare me for an adult life, and that's part of growing up, whereas I'm doing it to spite. That's not part of growing up. You don't just kick your kids out at 18, or if they can't go move out and live on their own, you make them pay rent in the house that you are providing for them. That's still your kid, first. Second, you don't do that. I told him that if I need to pay rent to learn to be an adult, then what does that make him? Living here rent-free. He told me I'm out of line and the conversation ended. You should tell him to go to his room because it's your house. My mom believes he made a mistake asking me to pay rent, but I'm being spiteful, and it's you are being spiteful, but I don't think it's wrong. And it's wrong of me to push for this as it will result in our family being torn apart. Am I the asshole here? No, he was an asshole first and isn't having the awareness to apologize because he made a mistake. Because even if it wasn't your house, he shouldn't have asked you. It's not even your dad, and he shouldn't have asked you to start paying rent. First of all, I feel like even if this house was owned by his mom, that feels to me a little bit like overstepping to then speak for the mom and say you need to start paying rent to live in this house that isn't owned by you. It's not yours either, stepfather person. So I don't know why. Did you not? Also, was there no conversation between him and his wife? Now that he thought he could just go to the kid and be like, "Can you start paying your mom rent?" And didn't even ask or speak to the mom about it at all? How does that even happen? How do you just do that and then how does that happen? It shouldn't happen, because if you had just spoken to your wife about it and been like, "Hey, do you think that your son should be paying you rent to live here? Since it's your house," immediately she would have said, "Oh, actually, it's his house." That's also just not how you teach independence, by telling them now you need to have a job that is able to pay a livable wage, but you're not living on your own. So you shouldn't have to be paying rent. Yeah, you're not the asshole. Definitely. Easy peasy. Where'd the jazz go? What are you buffering for? We need the smooth jazz playing at all times. Am I the asshole for not replacing one of my groomsmen after he cheated on a bridesmaid? For not replacing after he cheated. Ooh. These usually don't go the way that you think they will. It's also a very, very short read, so let's see if you are the asshole for not replacing a groomsman who cheated on a bridesmaid. What are you holding on to them for? How is this possibly not you being an asshole? My fiance and I are getting married in 2 months. I have 4 groomsmen, including my brother, cousin, and a close childhood friend, and a close college buddy. My fiance's best friend was in a long-term relationship with him. Which him? Which one? You just listed 4 men. My fiance's best friend was in a long-term relationship with him. I think the close college buddy? But that's very unclear. Was in a long-term relationship with him, but unfortunately for her, he got exposed as a cheater. I don't know the details of it, and honestly, I don't want to. I would want to if that's your friend, as a person you're calling your friend. I think that's problem number 1. You want to be oblivious to the people that you're keeping in your circle. I wasn't, the real people that they are. I wasn't aware of the cheating prior to the time it was discovered. I feel that his relationship with her is none of my business. I don't know, how a person that you choose to call your friend treats other people, I would want to know. I do think it's not the details of their relationship isn't your business, but the fact that he's a cheater and maybe not a good person, and he's still, you're going to call him your friend, and you don't want to know about it because you don't want to drama. That's kind of problematic. I don't know if it sounds like you're shitty. My fiance, on the other hand, does. She now hates him and is demanding that I replace him. She said he'll be a toxic presence to our wedding because the woman he cheated on is going to be a bridesmaid. I feel like that's fair. I think that he did a non-good person move right there, and you know, you don't have to completely cut him off as a friend because he did a horrible thing, and he can still decide to be a better person and hopefully never, ever, ever do it again. But I don't think he should be at the wedding, probably. I was bothered by this. This guy is one of my closest friends. I've known him since we were 18. I want him to be a groomsman. I said that they both can go and set aside their beef for one day. Oh, I don't know, though. No. Let me finish it. One of my closest friends, I've known him since we were 18. I want him to be a groomsman. I said they can both go and just set aside their beef for one day. After all, the day isn't about them. It's about us, and their relationship is none of our business. She said that she was putting her foot down on this, that my friend wouldn't be in her wedding. And I said if it's that big of a deal, she can drop his ex from the wedding, and that if she doesn't want that, then we can go along with the initial plan. She's been pissed at... Why is New York calling me? She's been pissed at me since and hasn't relented on this. Why do you want to be his friend? Why do you not want to know more on the situation? Because your friend is a cheater. I don't think necessarily that means everybody should leave the cheater's life immediately. But that's not a thing a good person does, and I think he needs to make different decisions now moving forward if he doesn't want to be an entirely not good person. But a good person doesn't cheat on somebody usually. I also don't believe one bad thing makes a bad person, although this is a big bad thing. But for the wedding, maybe you don't. And you wait for him to get his shit together as your friend. If you want to be his friend and hopefully help him get past being a shit person right now, I think you tell him, like, hey, I can't have you be in my wedding. I'm not going to leave your life, but you did an awful thing and I don't want you there now because, you know, we got to hold our friends accountable a little bit sometimes and give them, like, that tough love, especially cheating, I feel like. Just because a person sucks at a relationship, does that mean he wasn't a good friend? Maybe he's a good friend, but he's not a good person in general to other people, and that would matter to me. But again, he doesn't have to cut off the whole friendship, but maybe you make a decision to put your foot down and tell your friend, as his friend, I can't have you here because of what you've done. You've done a horrible thing, and I don't support it, and I don't agree with it. But, like, hey, let's help work on that with you because you can make better decisions and be a better person later, but you have to sit this one out now because you did an awful thing. I don't know. I feel like that's acceptable. But it's not as much that he doesn't need to be involved in the relationship's business as much as I do care about the actions that my friends take against other people that aren't just me. Maybe he's a nice person to me, but he's awful to other people or women. I don't want that friend then in that case. You know, maybe he's a great friend to me, but are awful to other people. I don't really think that's a good look. He could, I don't know, even still go to the wedding but not be involved in it. So there's an easier way for them to not have to interact. Even if he is there, if he's in the wedding and she's in the wedding, they have to interact and be in a room in close proximity probably. But it also isn't just his relationship with some girl. It is the best friend of his now soon-to-be wife. So that's not just some other girl that he doesn't even personally know. It's somebody that he probably will also become close with as being the best friend of his fiance. I mean, cheating is just wrong, but maybe it depends the situation that he went through. There's very few situations, almost always, well, always, you should get out before you make a decision like that. Even as shitty as sending a text just so that you're not cheating. Just get out before you cheat. But we all watched together one of those videos of, I think it was Jubilee. It was like 5 people that got cheated on and 1 secret cheater. And her story made me cry. And the truth of the matter for her was that she was in a very toxic relationship with somebody that cheated on her a bunch. And she stayed in the relationship and then cheated on him too. And it was incredibly toxic, and she's not the same person as she was while she was in this, like, mutually destructive relationship with her ex. But there was sympathy to be had for her situation. I don't think that's the case here. I don't think that's the situation this time. It just sounds like a guy that cheated on a girl. But, I mean, that's why I would want to know. If you're friends, I would want to know more about the situation, especially the type of person that this guy is if he decided to cheat. What was the situation that got you there? And I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I want to read the Reddit comments. I think you're incredibly naive to think they can just set aside their beef for one day because the wedding is about you and your fiance, the bridesmaid. Yeah? Hello, what do you have to say on the matter? That's it? Okay. Come here. Well, she just wanted to make her presence known. She just hopped out of the closet. Do you come here? She does this thing when she wakes up, especially from being inside the dark closet into the sunlight. She jumps down and screams, but now she's doing this thing where she's sitting and just like this. Just like not fully awake and just zoned out, staring into the distance, just sitting there. Letting the sun soak her. Okay, anyway, to continue the Reddit comment, the bridesmaid and your friend are humans, not robots, and your fiance will have to see your friend there too, and he's scum in her eyes, as he should be as the best friend to the person who got cheated. Doesn't matter who he is as a person, for her, that's the scumbag that cheated on her best friend. Unfortunately, it does sound like you have to choose. I don't blame your fiance for thinking that. It will cause unneeded drama at your wedding. Yeah, they're not going to set it aside. It's not going to happen, and it's better for you in the long run that you ask your friend, as the cheater, to sit this one out, but you don't have to cut him off completely. Because it's too soon. They're not going to be able to set it aside, and it is going to bleed into your wedding if they're both there. So you decide if you want that to happen or not by having him be there or not. Have him sit it out, and then you need to let more time pass, and also he needs to work on himself because, I don't know, you don't just cheat on a person like that. I'm saying. And let's be clear, they add, it's your friend's fault. So if someone has to be kicked out of the wedding, it should be him and not the bridesmaid. Because the fiance offered the solution, well, if you don't want them to be at the wedding interacting with each other, maybe have your friend not be in the wedding instead. I don't think that's the move. I don't think that's very nice either. It is your friend's fault. He cheated. So he maybe take a little responsibility, as much as it will be sucky for him to miss his friend's wedding or being in his friend's wedding, not even necessarily missing the whole wedding. He kind of has to take that hit now because he made a massive mistake. Even if he isn't entirely a terrible person yet. Although, you gotta do some actions now to not go down the road of just actually bad person. Potentially, questionably good person who made very bad decision and has a lot of repairing now to do and has to take the hit on just sitting out this wedding, I think. And then there's hope for you and his friendship to still exist, for him to become a better person. Don't know about the healing between him and the person he cheated on necessarily happening anytime soon, or even enough for that they could ever be around each other ever again, because that obviously the biggest thing that you can break when it comes to trust in a partnership. You're allowed to not want to ever be in the same room as the person that cheated on you ever again, even if they do become good and better people. There's so much involved. There's a lot of nuance to situations like this, but I think he has to sit out the being in the wedding part, at the very least. If not, the whole wedding, maybe. I don't know if she's asking him to sit out the whole wedding or just not being a part of the wedding. Oh, OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I may be the asshole for not really caring about the relationship and suggesting my wife to drop the angry bridesmaid. Yeah, I think that you might be the asshole for not caring. You don't have to know the details of the relationship to still want to know, like, I don't know, the details of the character of your friend, specifically. It is a lose-lose for the groom, but I think that, honestly, his friend who cheated needs to be the bigger person in this situation. Not even the groom, but he needs to remove himself and be like, I fucked up. I don't want to cause more stress and problems on your wedding day by being involved with my ex who I cheated on. As much as I support you and your wedding and am your friend still and would like us to continue to be friends or whatever, I will remove myself from the situation and not participate in the wedding. I don't know. That'd be, like, in a perfect world, the person who cheated should remove himself and the situation not even have to be a decision between the bride and groom. Because the groom is in kind of an impossible situation, but the decision that needs to be made is that he should not be part of the wedding, I think. Ooh, but somebody else said, different views on friendship too. OP's fiance doesn't want to put her best friend through needless pain and is empathetic enough to be bothered by the idea of someone she loves spending her wedding day in some pained charade, whereas OP doesn't give a shit, apparently. Even if I planned an open marriage and concerns about cheating didn't apply to me, I would not marry someone whose ideas of loyalty or empathy were so incompatible with mine. Who was so completely fucking uninterested in supporting a loved one through a difficult time. I would not marry someone whose ideas of loyalty and empathy were so incompatible with mine. Keep sticking around somebody that would make the decision to cheat is a questionable move. But, again, a lot of nuance to these kinds of situations. A lot of reasons why maybe he does want to stay in his life. Friends since he was a child. This really bad thing that he did. Really, really bad. Does not define who he is as an entire person, and he has still maybe a lot of work to do to be a good person and can be a good person. But right now, he cheated on somebody that's in your wedding, and that's your fiance, so I think you have him sit out. That was messy. Ooh, that was almost so messy it wasn't fun. Ew. Don't cheat on people. Just don't do that anymore. Just stop, please. So we don't have these situations happen anymore. Let's just not do that. You know, in a perfect world, but we don't live in one. And that's why I always say, there are good people that make bad decisions sometimes. In fact, every good person is going to make a bad decision or a decision that hurts somebody else, and not even with the intent to hurt somebody else. In fact, all of us as people are always going to have to hurt other people, even though we'll have the best of intentions, because sometimes what we want won't align with what other people want, and you'll have to hurt their feelings. Completely unrelated to the cheating thing, though. You just don't do that one. But if you're someone who did do it, there's no going back. You did it already. It's the situation you're in now. You're maybe not at the best version of yourself. You don't like what you've done. You don't like who you are now because you're somebody that has now cheated and it's happened. Take steps forward to not be that person anymore. Be a better person. Make better decisions. Leave that person you cheated on entirely alone. And move forward making new relationships with other people that hopefully can now accept the new version of yourself. Because personally, when I meet somebody that I have never known before previously, the things that they've done in their past aren't the most important thing to me as much as the person that they are right now. The work that they've done on the growth to themselves, despite maybe what things they might have done in the past. If they weren't things that directly hurt me specifically, they're a complete stranger to me and I'm just meeting them. I usually want to give all people the benefit of the doubt that let's see who you are right now. Who is the person that I'm meeting right now in a different version of yourself that you've grown past, made better decisions since, don't associate with because you don't like who you were. Because sometimes, also the truth is, good people now, we're just objectively not good people before. And they are aware of it and they admit to it. Some of us have just been bad people before and it's okay to admit that and not be that person anymore. Just stop being that person though. And don't cheat on people. Anyway. I don't know. Luckily, a situation I've never been in. Never had a situation like that in terms of someone cheating. Which is good because I give trust immediately away. So if someone broke it like that, I don't know what I would do. Although I've had people break my trust in other ways that are equally as horrible. So maybe... situation's definitely not better. What other good ones can we read? I love the smooth jazz playing as we're reading really controversial topics. Giving trust away immediately is a serious... I relate to that. I have this unfortunate idea that all people are inherently usually good and can choose to be good at any given moment in time. And I always hope that the people as I'm meeting them are going to just make those decisions to be good people right then and there with me. But some of them haven't. So, you know, maybe we all learn not to just give that away right away immediately every single time. Maybe we just put pause on that for a second and get to know them. You know, maybe a little bit first. But, yeah. Still believe all people can decide to be better people at any point that they want to. They can just decide that. And if they've hurt me personally, I probably won't give them a second chance. And forgive is also a very touchy subject because you don't ever have to forgive someone. And I don't believe choosing to not forgive a person means you're holding anything. I believe you can fully not forgive a person and let it go at the same time. I don't know. Why am I talking about this? We're not even reading a story anymore. I'm just going on and on. Me with trust issues. Hey, I think trusting too easy is the flip side of trust issues of people who don't trust at all. We all gotta work on it a little bit, am I right? Am I right? Therapy's great. I should go maybe have a session instead of doing this. All people are capable of being good people. Not everyone is currently making that choice. True. Ain't that just some truth? And some people only recently made that choice. And a lot of us are allowed to be like a little apprehensive to that and be like, we got a little trust issue with that. But hey, I'd love to see it. I love to see it. I did have a boyfriend though that, because you'll never know who, because I've dated lots of people non-publicly too. So I love just telling stories of an anonymous boyfriend that I had. And I've told a few of some anonymous boyfriends, like the one who wouldn't let me wear a tank top or wear a bathing suit at the beach. That same one Also, I don't think ever cheated on me, but did do a couple of suspicious things around the topic of cheating. Like ask me what I would do if he cheated on me. And I was like, I'd break up with you. And he got mad at me for that because he was like, you wouldn't even try. He would just, that would be it. It'd be over. And he got mad at me, so I apologized. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. I don't like him. Yeah, that's another. Don't tell your partner what to wear. You know what is allowed in a partnership that we don't talk about enough? You're allowed to be uncomfortable with certain things that your partner does, but it can never be a situation where you tell them they can't do it anymore. It always has to be a conversation with them like, hey, this thing kind of makes me uncomfortable. And if you can't work past that, then maybe that relationship isn't for you, but you can never tell somebody else what they need to do. Never tell someone that they need to change how they dress, how they behave online, how they are as a person. You don't tell them. You can talk about it and admit like, hey, I'm a little insecure about this thing and a little uncomfortable about this whole situation. Let's work it out. And if we can't, hey, maybe you're not meant to be partners because that's not going to work. But definitely don't tell them what they can do and cannot do. And that's why he's next. Yeah. Because the truth is sometimes our partners maybe will put us in a position where we're like, I actually feel a little uncomfortable with this whole thing and I want to explore this and figure out why I'm insecure about it. What they can say that can make me feel more comfortable without them necessarily even changing their behavior. And also maybe since maybe there is nothing they can do to make me feel more comfortable about it and they want to continue doing this behavior that isn't necessarily a harmful behavior, but just something that I'm not comfortable with, and maybe that is not the partner for you. Did you dump him? Yeah. Oh man, that story is actually a whole other story. The way that ended. I'll tell you in a nutshell, the like brief, shortened, zero details version. He left on a trip to visit his mom and never came back. So, she'll be rapping relationship wisdom. Sometimes I just can talk so fast. And I'm sorry. Because the truth is, what he wanted was a mother to care for him, and I didn't want to do that. So we went home to mom, and he never came back. And then we broke up over text because he didn't come back. So anyway, it's just fun to tell stories sometimes about things that I've been through. Because I honestly think they're funny now. I do believe that they are funny situations, and no one's hurt by me just telling a story of something that I had dealing with. Which boyfriend is this? Like I'd ever tell you. One of the ones you don't even know. Also, yeah, I will never speak about a person specifically in a way that you would know who I'm talking about. I want to make this very, very clear, actually. I would never speak on an ex or a person who was ever my friend, who maybe isn't my friend anymore. I will never speak about them in a way where you will know who I'm talking about. Never, ever, 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 ever. Because I don't want to participate in talking about a person where you know who I'm talking about and just airing laundry like that. I just like telling the stories where you don't know who they are, but it's a fun story to tell, and maybe a lesson to be learned by hearing it. But also, I would never speak about a person specifically because I just don't believe in doing that on stream at all. Those are details that do not ever need to be made public. Specific people that I've ever been dating or been friends with. Where did the little shubs start coming from? Because I started talking so fast it sounded like I was rapping about relationships. That's something I'm a big believer in. I will never speak about a person specifically in a negative way, even if they are no longer in my life, even if I do not like who they are as a person now. Still not something I'm gonna do. Just don't like it. Don't like doing that. Ain't no tea here. Only coffee. And also, I've dated a lot of people that you don't know about. I've had a number of public relationships we all are aware of, and I've had also a number of non-public relationships you will never be aware of. Let's read Am I the Asshole for... Which one? Am I an asshole for eating my cupcake outside? But tea is so good. I don't even like tea, actual tea. I kind of want to try chamomile tea because I'm pretty sure that might be one that I would like. I like hearing about people I don't know about. It's fun mental filler. I like telling stories about people that I know you don't know who I'm talking about. Especially, also a reminder, I'm old. I'm old. I'm 29. I have a history behind me of just lots of life has happened in those 29 years. Lots of people that I've dated even before I was online, so you'll just know that you'll never know what I'm talking about in terms of stories because there's just too much there. I'm an old woman. I have a lot of experience in life, but also in the grand scheme of things, not a whole lot either because I'm only 29. I'm so young. Why does this happen? There's so many planes. Do you hear the rattling? You put milk on tea? No, I tried that. I thought I made it worse. If that's possible, because it was also already gross. Who's calling you old? A lot of people. A lot of people are calling me old, actually. You know what's a little sad, actually, is posting a picture of yourself on your birthday and saying, hey, I'm 29 now. And having a lot of people that are definitely followers of mine. Not any of the people that were not followers of me who are also replying, but the people who are followers of me that thought that they were in a relationship with me close enough where they could start making I'm old jokes. And I don't want any of the people who made jokes about how old I am to feel bad, but they did hurt my feelings a little. Because I don't know who you are, and it's just people making jokes about how old I am. And people online think that they're in a close relationship enough with their streamer that they can make jokes at their expense, but then, man, hearing 100 people call you old sucks too. I could probably relate to Philza on this, probably. A lot of people were mentioning Philza in my birthday tweet about how I'm coming for him and how old I am, which also, I don't know if you know how time works. He's moving forward too. I'm never gonna catch up to him. That's not possible. Honestly, enough of my actual close friends also make the jokes about how old I am that they don't hurt my feelings, but it's different when it comes from strangers that you don't know than it is from people that are your friends that you do know personally. On my birthday, my friends started calling me grandma. A lot of my friends call me old. That I don't mind, but I don't know if you know how time works. H calls me old. Also, though, he's like 2 months behind me, so it's like, my brother in Christ, this is you in 2 months. This is about to be you too. But I think that's what makes it especially funny when it comes from H, is that he's only so many months behind me in age, literally. He's about to be where I'm at. Also, everyone who's a little baby right now, who are like, oh, you're 29, that's so old. And I'm like, that's gonna be you. You're gonna get there one day. And that's gonna be you who's old soon. It's gonna happen to us all. Am I the asshole for eating my cupcake outside? I have a 10-year-old daughter who loves frosting. Every week I buy cupcakes for me, my wife, and her, and she always eats my frosting. These past few weeks I decided to eat my cupcake before going inside. Oh, they just want their frosting. This poor man just wants his frosting. Is that what the story is? She asked me where my cupcake is, and how often are you eating cupcakes? How often does this family have cupcakes? I want to live in this family. You have cupcakes every week? Every week I buy cupcakes. I read that part and then forgot about it. Every week they get cupcakes. I'm past 29, so I understand that comment completely. First time showing at your stream, I'm gonna go ahead and hit that follow. Hey, welcome! We're old here, apparently. But also, listen, so much life to be lived after 30. In fact, so much more that you can't do before you're 30, if we're being really truthfully honest. So much more life just unlocks and becomes possible for you after 30 that you just wouldn't have touched before that. I have heard that your 30s are way better than your 20s. I've also heard this, and as so far, not even being 30, everything has only been getting better the older that you get, because, oh my god, there's just so much better things ahead when you're older, and less insecure, which just happens naturally over time. So any of you guys that had that dream about falling, and you found out that that means you're insecure, and you're like, wait, I have that dream every night. Just naturally over time, as you get older, on its own, it gets easier and goes away. So that's one massive benefit to just getting older. So, if it's really bad and you're really insecure right now, just know, naturally, without even doing anything, it will get better. And also, there's things you can do and steps that you can take to be a little bit less insecure. Because you deserve to be. You're beautiful. I love you. What's up? These past few weeks, I decided to eat my cupcake before going inside. She asked me where my cupcake is, and I told her, I don't like cupcakes anymore. Before going inside... Wait. Oh. So I only bought 2. It worked for a while, but last night when I was enjoying my cupcake before going inside, she caught me and ran to her mom to tell her how much of a terrible dad I am for stealing her frostings for weeks. Her frostings for weeks! She is sulking, and my wife thinks I am the asshole, and I'm acting childish and should just let her have it. But it's easy for her to say when she's never given up her frosting. Am I the asshole? Edit 1. This is hilarious for me, just because of the fact it's so serious. Edit 1. Everyone is taking this seriously. My daughter is not an entitled spoiled brat. I can only imagine what the comments ran with before he had added this edit. Honestly, I think she doesn't even love frosting that much. She only does it to annoy me, obviously, because she's not taking it from her mom, only her dad. I made this post because my wife likes this sub, so I wanted to show her that I'm not the asshole. Edit 2. A lot happened since I posted here. Oh. I should have read it, actually, because I just skipped ahead. It's a... Oh, man. All right, well, edit 2. A lot has happened. My wife is getting a divorce. She says she can't live with a liar. CBS came to our home and took our child away. They said we were terrible parents for letting... I'm going to speed run through this so you can get to the point that I got to in a second. They said we're terrible parents for letting our child eat frosting, but by the time they got here, our daughter wasn't home. Why? Because the cops came and arrested her for stealing a car. They said frosting thieves always become car thieves, so there's no need waiting. She should go to jail ASAP. When I'm just gonna skip ahead and say, nah, it's a joke. It's just a joke. But I started the line of my wife is getting a divorce, and I gasped, and then skipped down, and he said, nah. It's a joke. It's a joke. I had to get through it fast to let you know it was a joke, because I didn't want you thinking it was true the whole time. So my daughter and I had a serious conversation about this problem, and we came to an agreement. She said she'll stop stealing my frostings. How old is she? She sounds so cute. Oh, she's 10, and she's saying frostings? If I stop stealing her chips, he's a chip thief. And the truth comes out. He's stealing her chips, so we're good. Edit 3. Some people clearly didn't realize the second edit was a joke. I think he might have added the nah after, but okay, that was cute. That was cute. You know what would have been a perfect scenario here? I hate the frosting on cupcakes, and I wipe it off and eat only the cake part. Am I a psychopath for that? I don't like frosting, so I wipe it off and eat only the cupcake part, because it's too much. It's too much frosting. I don't like the taste of frosting. It depends on the kind of frosting, actually. Chocolate frosting. So a specific kind of chocolate frosting I would eat out of the tub. You know, the tub that you can buy. I'm not a big like buttercream fan, or like the frostings on birthday cakes. I don't really like the pale pastel colored frostings and the pale brown chocolate frosting. I don't like. But there is this chocolate frosting you can buy in the store that's like a really rich chocolate, almost like pudding in a tub. That stuff's good. I'll eat that. But regular frosting, I don't know what it's called. I don't like it. I don't think that it's good. Sorry, one second. Oh, okay. Dude, I'm about to get new keys for this keyboard, and I'm so excited. I think it's gonna sound so good. The clickities are gonna get so much better, I think. So much better, clickety-clacking. Dude, this jazz slaps. This is better than the Animal Crossing. I think that jazz is the new thing for our streams. I keep trying to fight the hiccups from drinking my water too fast. And also, I think when I talk fast, I hiccup more. There's so much more air coming in and out because I'm talking so quickly, and just after I'm done talking, I inhale a buttload of air. Let's read one more, and I think I'm good to wrap up here. But let's try and get a really good one. I want to read a good one that's not going to be not like a bad messy to get into. Am I the asshole for telling my uncle's second wife that she needs to understand that his first wife will always be important to the family? See, does that sound like fun to me, or does that sound like just a mess that I don't honestly want to have my opinion put into because I don't want to touch it at all even. You make me dizzy sometimes when you talk fast. I think that the days when I talk fast are the days that I had 2 coffees, because you know what I had today? 2 coffees. Today's a 2 coffee day. No, suddenly I'm talking really fast. Also, anytime I go live at night and I'm talking really fast, or if I keep stuttering or like stumbling over my words, that's a 2 coffee day too. Or maybe just a 1 coffee, but an evening coffee day, you know? I think that's just how that goes. But then I swear that coffee doesn't do anything to me. I don't know about that one. I don't know who's telling the truth or who's lying here. Both of me are lying. Both of me. Well, boba day today. Nah. Maybe? Nah. Maybe. I had a cold brew today and definitely felt it. Cold brews are good. If I ever find myself at Starbucks, which isn't very often anymore, I kind of am boycotting Starbucks a bit right now. Having a personal protest moment of just not supporting Starbucks, like how I was not supporting Chick-fil-A, and still don't support Chick-fil-A, but I stopped going to Starbucks. But if I happen to find myself there because I'm with a group of people that are like, let's get some Starbucks, I go in and I get a cold brew, because the only thing I like there now is their cold brews. I don't even truly like most of their other coffee, but the cold brew, it's good. It's the salted caramel cream or the chocolate cream cold brew. Man, are those really good. Cold brew matcha I never had. Why do you like Starbucks? Because Starbucks just as a company suck. But also so does every company pretty much ever. So when you really get down to the nitty gritty, I'd have to protest a lot more companies that I definitely like, clothing stores that I definitely still shop at. But Starbucks specifically just kind of is a not nice company. They don't like unions. They keep trying to stop unions from forming, which we love. We love unions. We love workers and workers' rights. But they keep trying to bust down these unions. And anytime a Starbucks successfully gets a union, guess what keeps happening? Those Starbucks specifically keep closing down, which is really suspicious and weird. So I just stopped going there. And also, there's so many other coffee shops in my area, like local coffee shops, that are really good. And I don't even think Starbucks coffee is all that great. So I'm going to the local coffee shops or just making my own coffee. Or Dunkin' Donuts is down the road too. And I love Dunkin' Donuts. And if I really were to look into it, probably Dunkin' Donuts isn't that much better if I were to guess. But I'm just not going to go to Starbucks anymore. I don't think their coffee's all that much worth it. And there's a coffee shop in the same distance in any direction if I decide to go a different direction. So I'm just going to other places instead. Support your local coffee shops. They know what they're doing. They got them fresh beans. They love what they do. They put love into every cup. I don't think that's happening at Starbucks, and I don't blame the employees for not putting love into my cup when I go there for coffee, because that's like their 1,000th that week. And everyone's not nice to them in the drive-thru probably, and don't even treat them like human beings, but rather like they're just robots to be handed money to and receive coffee from. So, you know. so I stopped going to Starbucks. Austin, thank you for subscribing. Also, Verbal, thank you for the Prime. And Jay Pluska, thank you for subscribing. I always try and compliment people when I'm in a drive-thru and just like be nice, be friendly. Anytime I'm ever dealing with anyone who works in any kind of a service type of position, I just try to be the nicest ever, because I don't want to know what you dealt with in that day, but probably a lot of shit. So I want to be the least problematic person rolling through, maybe even memorably nice, so that you remember to just keep going until you don't have to work at Starbucks anymore, you know? I have an itchy eye. I have a thing. Okay, we have to read a thing. We have to read one. I don't want to read that one. Here we go. Let's try this one. Would I be the asshole? Because they haven't done the thing yet that would maybe make them an asshole. So let's see. What decision will they make? Which one would make them an asshole? My cousin has a coffee cart in New York and he makes $1,000 in tips a week. It's insane. Good for him. Good for him. And that sounds like a fun thing to do, kind of. let's be honest, most working isn't fun. But if you can find a job that you can work and actually have fun doing, boy, is that perfect. I was reading a lot actually about, I keep going on side tangents. I was reading on Tumblr, because I read a lot of things off of Tumblr. I take things to read about from Tumblr and then I go and I explore them on the internet. But I was reading about just the entire idea of like the complexity of the dream job narrative that we feed to people, and that you don't have to be working yourself to the, first of all, you shouldn't be working to survive. That's not how that dynamic should be working. You should be able to live a comfortable and nice life without having to work yourself to the bone all the time. But also, the entire dream job narrative is just not for everybody. Some people do want to just work a simple job that contributes to society in some small way, earn enough money for their lifestyle, which maybe is very simple, and not have a whole dream job that they have to work their asses off for every day and have that big goal. Some people don't want to work. Some people just want to do their little contribution, get paid enough, and go home and then live their lives. And just the whole idea of the dream job narrative being a little bit not cool, and a little bit taking advantage of people with these hopes and dreams of things. But not everybody wants their lives to revolve around their career or their job, and that's acceptable and that's okay. And whatever job you work should be able to pay for whatever lifestyle you want to live. Maybe some people do have to work a little harder if they want a little bit of a fancier lifestyle. They have that option. Your life doesn't have to revolve around your career. Yeah, just basically that, and just the whole everything that comes along with feeding the idea of this dream job and dedicating your whole life to the work that you choose to do. Not everybody wants to do that, and that's okay. And whatever job they choose to contribute in their small way, because they still want to like do something, should be able to pay them to be able to live whatever life they do want to live. Maybe it'd be traveling, spending time with family and friends, and going and doing fun things on the weekends, and having enough money to be able to live fully, and then also just still work their simple 9 to 5 days a week, maybe different even hours. I think that I was reading on Twitter separately about people doing 4-day work weeks with slightly longer days, and that's been very good for people. That's pretty cool. I like that. I think that sounds good. They were toying with that idea when I was in school about cutting school down 4 days a week, and I was like, I would go to school longer hours for 4 days instead of 5. I think I would take that as an offer if it was offered to me. But people who aren't workaholics aren't lazy. Yeah, not everybody lives to work, and not everybody wants their life to be about getting to that dream job that is, for some people, just an impossible road to go down sometimes. And yeah, I don't know what led to this tangent. Would I be the asshole if I deducted the cost of an expensive item my friend ruined from her pay? Let's see. My friend of 3 years, Bex, house sat for me this past week. I agreed to pay her $50 a day to do so. She was home with my low-maintenance dog and stayed in the guest room, or so I thought. Bex hurried out when I got home, telling me to PayPal her the money once I settled in. When I got into my room, it became very obvious that Bex slept in the master bedroom, my bed. That's a little weird, actually. Just to, even if she didn't break anything, to go and sleep in your personal bed when you offered her the guest room and not your personal bed. Because if it was me and I knew I was giving you my personal bed, I'd have like a fresh set of sheets and everything, and I would then when I come home wash them, obviously. Okay. I was quite put off by this because I have a guest room with a queen, which is more than sufficient, and I told her to stay out of my bedroom. Oh, and you told her specifically to stay out of the bedroom. Yes, the master bedroom does have a king, but that's not what I offered her. Also, what is the difference between a king and a queen? Is it really... You're not going to notice it when you're passed out. I immediately took the sheets off as she was packing up. And as I did, I noticed that there was something on the duvet cover near the bottom. It was nail polish. And she did her nails in... Okay, your friend way overstepped. Your friend way overstepped. And she did her nails in the bed. Don't do your nails in the bed. Just in case you spill. Oh no. I don't know how you get that out either. That stuff's hard to get out of, like, lots of things. Me and Megan got nail polish on our carpet in our last place, and that was really hard to do. I called and asked her, what the hell? And she said she'd fallen asleep on top of the duvet with nails that weren't quite dry. I asked why she didn't tell me, and she said because she could flip the duvet cover over and didn't think it was a big deal. If you don't think it's a big deal, then you would have just mentioned that it happened. You definitely thought it was a big enough deal to not talk about it and thought that maybe you'd get away with it because it was a big enough deal to hide. Oh. It is true. The duvet has two good sides. That's what mine is. Mine's on the other side now because I slept with the other side for too long. And can I admit a really gross thing? This is the reality of being somebody who wears makeup, is that some nights you're not going to take it off fully. And sometimes you end up with just like a little buildup of a little bit of some makeup in the sheets, and it gets a little bit dirty looking, and then you flip it over and then it goes away, and you never know that it ever happened. But that's on the other side of this comforter now because I'm not a perfect person. Sometimes I go to bed and I didn't perfectly clean my face, and I got just little bits of makeup in there over the course of like 2 years. So the other side doesn't look good. I'll admit it. It's clean, it just doesn't look good. But yeah, don't go to bed with wet nails. Also, who just like falls asleep after painting their nails? I'm not somebody who could do that, I think, where I'm just sitting and laying and then just fall asleep with my wet nails laying on the bed. What even is that about? I misclicked somewhere. Where did I just click at? Sometimes I'm scared I click things. And one time I ended the stream because I clicked the wrong button. Okay. So it's true the duvet has two good sides. That's not the point though. She's lying, first of all, because she thinks it's not a big deal, but she thought it was big enough of a deal to hide it from you rather than just admit it. Because if it wasn't a big deal, she could just admit, like, hey, there was an accident, I spilled some nail polish on your sheets. If it really wasn't a big deal, that wouldn't have been a problem to do. But she hid it from you instead, which means she knows it's a big deal, possibly, and she's scared, and she's guilty. And a lot of people will do anything to avoid guilt. But now my duvet has a bunch of red! Oh, what color is the duvet? Has a bunch of red nail polish on it on one side. Also a bunch. It sounds like I feel like she also lied about the nails. She fell asleep and got. And I feel like she spilled a bottle. It sounds like. My duvet was around $250, and I have a receipt for it. I want to take the cost out of the pay I was going to send her. With how many? Was it only a week? A week for $50 a day. That's almost all of the pay. But also, I think that if I was a friend of somebody and I ruined something of theirs, I would immediately offer to pay it back. The exact cost of what that item was. I would buy it for you again. I would insist. Although some people don't have that money, so maybe I understand. Let's see. I told Bex I didn't think it was fair for me to pay the full house sitting rate, $350, when she had ruined something expensive of mine. Do you plan to replace it though? Or are you gonna flip it? I would offer to fix it, honestly, I think. But also, if you're not planning to buy a new one, what do you want the money from her for? Is that too far for me to ask? If you don't plan on replacing it because it is just on one side, what do you want the money back for? But I don't think she's out of line. Maybe. Let's finish. Let's finish reading. The full house sitting rate was $350, and she'd ruined something expensive of mine, $250. Because it isn't ruined. She did admit it's only on one side. And I just want to know, for personal reasons, with the money, if you were to take it out of her pay, would you be replacing it? Or are you just taking the money and then keeping the one good side flipped? Because then at that rate, if I was her, I'd just be like, don't worry about it, because I'm not going to be replacing it. If I'm replacing it, I would ask for the money to do it. If I don't plan to replace it, then I wouldn't. I would just let it go and be like, you could just admit that you did it, first of all, and not lie to me. But it's okay because it's only, I don't know. She says this was a risk I took having someone stay in your home, and no, you were supposed to be in the guest room. You broke rule number 1, don't go in her bedroom. And she really can't afford to have me underpay her. That's where I would be understanding, especially if I don't honestly plan to replace it, if it's not actually ruined. But she definitely shouldn't have been in your bedroom. It's definitely not a risk she took because she said don't go in her bedroom. So that wasn't a risk that should have even been there. And she even said that she would tell our mutuals I'd stiffed her if I don't pay her the full amount. I told her I felt like I was obligated to pay her $100, $350 minus the $250 duvet, and she told me to fuck right off and to think carefully about my choices and hung up on me. It doesn't sound like you have a good friendship. I'm just gonna say that up top. She wasn't a good friend because she broke a lot of boundaries, not even just one, but multiple. And it's okay for her to not have the money and not want to pay you back, and maybe even argue, do you plan to replace it? Let me help you find a better replacement, or, I can't offer you that full amount, but I'm happy to buy you a different one that's maybe cheaper, or I don't know, other alternatives. But it just sounds like you don't have a good friendship, and maybe it isn't even worth salvaging if you were not able to be good friends. Why did she go in your bedroom? She should have never gone in your bedroom. This should have never happened, and it is her fault that it happened because she should have never gone in your bedroom. Personally, I would cover the duvet cost if she had wrecked my guest suite's duvet. That one was only $75. And it's where where'd you buy a $250 duvet? I know where you bought a $250 duvet. Urban Outfitters. I don't think this one's $250, but Urban Outfitters duvets are expensive. That one was $75, and that's where I told Bex to sleep, but she ignored me, slept in my bed, ruined my stuff, without my permission to be there. Actually, not even without your permission, with explicitly being told not to. You didn't not even just say, you can stay in the guest room. You said also, additionally, don't go in my bedroom. She wrecked my duvet covers. She should have been nowhere near. I will absolutely never have Bex house sit again. She also smoked pot in the house. I have a covered patio with a sofa, and it was nice weather all week, and she never walked my dog. Where did it go to the bathroom? Wait, oh, that's awful. You can't agree to house sit and walk the dog and then not walk the dog. Don't make the dog suffer too, man. You can't just skip doing that. Where did they must have gone, they must have like a place for going on the patio, so she never had to take them actually outside. What are you paying her for? Definitely don't pay her. Oh my God, she didn't even do the job. The doorbell camera never has her leaving with the dog. I don't think I really want to be her friend after that. So I was like, what do you even want to be her friend for at this point? So I wonder if that's biasing me and not wanting to pay her in full after she wrecked my duvet. So would I be the asshole if I deducted the duvet cost from her pay? Me being problematically unconfrontational, I would just pay her the money and then never talk to her again. I wouldn't want to be her friend anymore. She didn't walk the dog. That bothers me. You didn't do the job you're supposed to do. And obviously this was house sitting, but I assume she also agreed additionally to be a dog walker too. And that was like known that she was supposed to do that and talked about specifically, and not just, here, can you house sit? And then after you leave, you're like, oh, by the way, can you also walk the dog? You know, that would be different, but you can't just make the dog suffer too. She did all of the things wrong, man. Whoa, update. List. This is insane. Wait, oh, this goes for longer. This is definitely the last one we're reading. I'm gonna wrap up, but update. First, a list of the cast we're gonna need to know. Bex, the rude house sitter. Andrea, Bex's older sister. Mimi, a friend. Jer, friend, gay man. Felix, friend, bi man. I don't know if these are relevant, but they're included. And Dana, my dog. I feel like Dana shouldn't be a dog name. I feel like one of the other ones should have been the dog. Mimi, I thought was gonna be the dog, or Jer. Even Felix, but Dana, I question your choices of naming. But, hi. Hi, baby bean. Come here. Come here, the people want to see you. Because they love and adore you. Because you are Miss Darling. Come here. Oh, I bopped her face. She looks so confused every time I bring her up here. She just starts looking around like, whoa, I never seen the place from this angle before. Never been up this high. Never seen it from these heights. Okay, she's gone. Okay, now we've got the cast, right? Everyone's got it? Bex confronted me in the group chat early this morning. I gotta read this like it's film noir. I feel like I need rain. I need rain and thunder sounds. Hold on. Cut the jazz. Rain and thunder, 10 hours. Got it. Tell me if it's too loud, because I don't want it to be. It's kind of loud. Man, between those two little notches, that's like a big difference. All right, is that good? That's good. Bex confronted me in the group chat early this morning, asking when I was going to pay her, and if I was going to screw her on her payment. Right out of the gate, really aggressive. Her sister, Andrea, then chimed in and said, I had said I was going to stiff, and chimed in that I had said I was going to stiff Bex for part of her house-sitting payment because Bex had an understandable accident in my house, and I was punishing her for her clumsiness. I was asleep during all of this early morning messages, but our mutuals in the group chat, Mimi, Jer, and Felix, asked what was going on. People knew Bex was watching my dog Dana, so Bex just elaborated that she accidentally spilled a little bit. I think she spilled the bottle, man, of nail polish on my duvet cover, and now I'm charging her for the entire expensive duvet, which was most of her pay. Skill issues. Bex then went on to elaborate that I have more money than her. This is a clear case of me using my power and privilege to discriminate against someone with less than me. That's dramatic. I'm rolling my eyes so much at this point, I just wanted her to have not wrecked my stuff in an area I told her not to go. At this point, Bex hasn't described what has gone on at all, and she's talking about how much this missing money will screw her. Mimi asks if the duvet cover is permanently ruined, and Bex says that she just flipped it over. Mimi again asks, can the nail polish be removed? I think actually yes. If I'm gonna defend Bex for only one single thing, it's that I think that you can save the duvet it might have a color stain, but I do believe that the polish, like stiffness to the polish as it dries, can come out with some work and some Googling on how to remove certain things, but no, not very easily, but I think it can be. Red is hard. I think that there's going to be a color stain no matter what, but not the point. Bex admits that she tried to, but it seemed to make it worse. That's new. That's new information I think you should have mentioned. She did. That's why it looks so bad. She did try to remove it. I want to warn all of you. If you have a stain from anything that you don't immediately know how to clean it, specifically like nail polish, don't try to clean it without Googling how. You might make it worse and permanent where it might not have been permanent before. Don't try to clean something that you don't specifically know exactly how to clean without Googling it. You will ruin things that you don't need to ruin, and it can completely come out potentially if you just check the right way to clean it. If you're this friend, if you're Bex, she might have been able to get away with this if she knew how to do it the right way, but she did it the wrong way and made it worse. So, don't be Bex for many reasons. She admits that she tried, but it seems to have only made it worse. This appears to be true. There's a smudge where it looks like that. I was gonna say, how does it look so bad when it was just her wet nails brushing against the sheets? That doesn't sound right. Felix comments that Jared jokes that I'm clearly a high flyer if I have a $250 duvet cover in my guest room. Oh my God, Jared, just wait till you find out. Felix comments that it's not really the group's place to judge what I spend on my guest room, and that I'm allowed to have nice things. I like Felix. You should keep him. Nobody clarifies that this duvet cover is not actually in the guest room. I wake up some hours later, and how many hours later? How early are your friends waking up that you're not waking up for hours? Not the point. And clarify with pictures about the duvet cover, the smoking pot inside. I don't know how much of a big deal that one is, because I don't, smoking inside cigarettes do not do. It's very bad. It will stain your walls. It will keep a smell. But I don't believe the same is true for weed, although if you just don't want it in your home, I think that for that 1 week that you're asking her to house sit, you're allowed to ask that. I think that that's very fair. I do not believe anything will be permanently damaged or permanently smell. It doesn't, I think, cling in the same way, so like it will go away. It will go away. But still not the point. Not walking Dana. That one's the one that bothers me the absolute most of everything. Not even the duvet cover, because it can be flipped. I would honestly, it's not as big of a deal. But and Beck sleeping in my bed when I told her she was only welcome in the guest room. Lots of different details that Beck's very. Why would you, if you were Beck's, put it in the group chat, making other people aware, knowing you're lying? Bex did a big dumb because she knows she wasn't supposed to be in the bedroom and she didn't mention that. And she must know eventually that OP is going to bring that up and she's going to just be ruined by her own mistake because everyone will be like, well, you weren't supposed to be in there. Why would you lie and then get a group involved and continue to lie with the other person who knows the truth in the group chat? You got the group involved. You dug your own grave. Okay. Wasn't allowed to be in the guest room. Felix, Mimi, and Jer are all annoyed with Bex now, and 100% on my side. Bex did this to herself by making other people get involved. Big dumb move. Even dumber than the other move. And start giving opinions. Because Bex opened this to the group. This is now a group activity to give opinions on. Mimi says I owe Bex $100 only. That's a weird line to draw, but also I don't know. I'm not as bothered about it's not completely ruined because you can flip it, but if you're really planning to replace it, if I was the friend and didn't have enough money, I would give some money, so maybe $100 is fair, not the whole amount. Jer and Felix tell me I don't owe her a thing. Ooh, Felix, I was on your side. I liked you. Oh, you don't owe her any of the money. Oh, wait. Bingo, because she didn't walk the dog. She didn't do the job. And she didn't listen to the only rule, which is don't go in the bedroom. And even if that wasn't made explicitly clear, which it was, don't go in a person's bedroom when you are meant to be in the guest room. Don't just go and sleep in their bed, where they probably didn't plan to give you clean sheets and you're sleeping on their dirty sheets. I just wouldn't want that, personally. But Jer and Felix tell me I don't owe her a thing. I don't owe her any of the money. Jer and Felix tear into Bex, saying she severely misrepresented the situation, and she lied to us all, and that's not okay. All three of them, Jer, Mimi, and Felix, are very mad about Dana as well. Everyone loves my dog. Star, you can't go in the bathroom. I just got new toilet paper, and you're going to eat it. You can't eat the toilet paper. I just got a new batch of toilet paper because I was almost out. Andrea tries to defend Bex, because let's not forget the cast here. Andrea is Bex's older sister, also in the group chat. Jer and Felix give Bex so much shit for how she behaved and asked if her mother would be proud to hear she behaves this way. At this point, hi, my love. Now you want attention. Do you want to come up here? Come on up. No? Okay, I think she's going to go up here. Come on. Do we still like the rain and thunder? Does it fit? I feel like it got less dramatic. At this point, Bex goes nuclear. Oh, oh, she did that sniff face that cats make when they sniff a new smell, and then they go. That's the face they make. Everyone who has a cat knows this. What's going on back there? I'll let you watch while I read with dramatic rain and thunder sounds. At this point, Bex goes nuclear and says, "Fuck you, you fucking," and then. She said the F slur. That's to throw the whole friend in the trash at that point. Oh my god. Oh my god. And leaves the group chat and blocks everyone. Andrea wordlessly leaves the group chat about a minute later. I wouldn't want to be Andrea in that situation either. Even if I wasn't defending Bex, I'd quietly leave the room as well. Cue 10 minutes of everyone going, what, over and over. We are still not sure what to make of it. We've now spent the morning telling people we know about what has happened to preempt whatever sob story she'll go with. She should have never brought this to the group chat. What was she thinking was going to happen when she brought this to the group chat? Before it was brought to the group chat, I was like only in some parts of the story on Bex's side, at least only a little bit in the fact that like if you're going to flip it and not fully replace it, maybe do you need all the money? But even then she didn't walk Dana, I found out, and I was not on her side at all. I'm not paying Bex at this point. Fuck her. What the actual fuck? Common questions. Where did your dog go potty if not walked? She has a porch potty. That's what I thought when she said she had a closed patio. She has a porch potty on the patio that she uses, which she prefers to go in. But she prefers going in the front yard because she's easily startled and has a hard time going in busy places. Why don't you get someone to professionally remove the stain? I've called 3 places, and I wouldn't even go professional. I'd go Google. Why is nobody just Googling how to remove a stain? Am I the one who does this? Do you know I can remove a stain from anything? Have I talked about how this is my superpower, that I've removed stains that should not have been removed? I've removed them. I got the stain from nail polish out of our carpet almost 100%. I'm not gonna lie, that one was a tricky one. It was also bright pink, similar situation, got in the rug. I removed it almost 100%. I think if we had gone back in with the same thing that I had done the first time, we might have been able to like really make it not a noticeable difference of pink, but you know, I work some miracles when I remove stains, but I just go on Google. I'm not getting a professional. Although, for a $250 duvet, maybe, yeah. Find out about it. I wouldn't have ever even thought of that, professional cleaners. I called 3 places, and all of them have said some variant of, we don't touch nail polish stains if it's red. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The vibrant pink even, it left a very pale pink behind. But, yeah, okay. They don't touch it if it's red. The base of the duvet. Oh, I've been wondering the whole time what color the duvet is. Take one guess what color this duvet is. I would never. This is why I'm playing dangerous games with my light gray even. It is white. It is white. That's never coming out. Any color nail polish on white. I mean, at least I have a little bit of gray, so like some stains blend a little bit better, but pure white. Oh, that's just painful. Red stains are very obvious. No kidding. And final question. I don't think we need the rain anymore. We can bring back the jazz. Cue the jazz? Yeah, all right. And final question. Why aren't you more upset about Bex not walking the dog? Honestly, that's... Same? I'm like, why is the story not about her not walking the dog as like the main focal point, personally? But she said she has to be coaxed to go on walks. She's very lazy. My dog probably thought this was an awesome vacation. It's not great she missed her walks, but my dog didn't miss them. Okay, so the dog doesn't even like the walks. You just take her on the walks for, you know, it's helpful, healthy, good for the dog. This is something me and Megan ran into as an issue. If I ever got left to watch Chewy, he would just refuse to do the things that she's able to get him to do, and he knows that there's nothing I can do to make him do the things because I don't have the same authority in my voice and tone to make him do the things he's supposed to do. So it just never worked for me to watch him because they were on a vacation. They were like, you're not my owner. I will not do the things that you tell me to do because I don't have to. Who even are you, lady? So maybe I do get why that one wasn't as big of a deal. If it's a small dog that has a bathroom that they have indoors, a week of missing walks isn't ideal, but not the biggest issue. I get that. Can someone please tell me what a duvet is? So I have it. I think it's a big thing in England that people have, not as much in America, but I do have one. Rather than having a comforter, which exists as one piece, a big puffy blanket with stuffing inside, a duvet is simply the cover over a comforter of sorts, where the inside of this is a plain white down comforter, no pattern on it, just like a plain thing. And the duvet is the cover over it, which is much easier, firstly, to take off and wash. Secondly, if you want to change up the comforter on your bed instead of buying a whole new comforter, which is a lot more money than just the duvet cover. Keep that in mind now, realizing that this woman's duvet cover was $250, not even the comforter that was inside it. But also mine is expensive because I bought it from Urban Outfitters. It's pretty, and we're not going to judge people for spending money on nice things. But typically, if you don't buy a $250 duvet cover, you can buy multiple inexpensive ones, so you can kind of change them out easier, and it's not as big of a thing as replacing your entire comforter is. You know, I big recommend it. Much easier to replace than that duvet on the the comforter on the inside. I don't know what you call that. Comforter? But the thing on the inside lasts a lot longer too, because any like wear and tear is happening to the cover around it rather than the comforter itself. So the insert in here will last for a very, very long time. So you could put a good amount of money into that, but then it doesn't need to be replaced because you're just replacing the cover around it. It's like having pillowcases. The pillow remains intact inside for a much longer amount of time if you have also just specifically a pillow protector cover and then a pillowcase over it. I don't do that, but I think that it's a lot better for the pillow if you do that. People do that. I don't do that. I just have a pillowcase. But if you want the things on the inside, if you want to put a good amount of money into them, that's a great way of going about it. Just get nice inserts and then get an inexpensive cover around it. Really, I just use a case. I forget who I encountered that was using pillow protector and then the pillowcase. Because even through the pillowcase, if you're somebody who drools, which I have been guilty of at times, that goes through. that does go through, and then you end up with gross-looking pillows on the inside. So you do end up having to replace the pillows if you only have a pillowcase on it. I just don't still have protective covers under the pillowcase. I just use pillowcase and then buy a new pillow, I guess. Also, PSA to everyone in the chat, it's time, if you have been holding on to a particularly yellow pillow, it's time for a new one. Let it go. I know it's your favorite. I know that when you buy a new one, it never feels the same. It never feels right. It's time to let go of the yellow pillow. I know some of you in here are out there holding on to them, the yellow pillows in there. And if you keep putting a clean pillowcase on it, you think it's fine. It's not fine. Get rid of it. Get a new one. Go feel around at the store. Make sure you put time into finding one. That will be a good replacement, but it's time. Get rid of the yellow pillow. They go yellow over time. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I'm pretty sure one of mine is on its way out pretty soon. But, it's time to get rid of the yellow pillow, and it's time to wash your sheets. All right, if you're somebody who's never let your pillow get yellow, I think that you're lying. I think that you're full of lies. We've all had the 2 yellow pillow. At least even from when we were kids, where we got obsessive over a specific pillow that could not ever be replaced because that was a specific pillow. Have some of you never gotten the yellow? Oh, I'm embarrassed. I gotta go. At least people in the chat did know what I'm talking about by the yellow pillow. It happens over time. Okay. All right. Some of you have never had a yellow pillow, and that's fine. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not hurt by finding out that it is just me and not everybody. Other people are admitting that they've had a yellow pillow, though. I've had a yellow pillow. I have one that's getting yellow. They get yellow over time if you sweat at any point, if you drool at any point. No shame. It happens, and it isn't your fault. Okay. Just it's time to get rid of the yellow pillow. And it's time for me to go. So thank you for joining the stream today. This one was really fun. I just also drooled. I spit everywhere. Mine's yellow. I'm talking about you. Time for a new one. Thanks for joining us today. This was fun. I liked reading about the lost footage stuff. I love reading Am I the Assholes as always. Love talking, telling stories. This one was a vibe. I feel like the jazz just adds to the vibes. Hugs, Lonely Origin, Alio5, and Vatican Graffiti. Brandon for a hug. Thanks for joining and hanging out long enough to have enough channel points for a hug. Lifestyle, thank you for subscribing. I think I've read all the other subs that have happened today. And yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna head out. Here's one last look at the cat. Hi. She's half sleeping under that blanket. There's like it's hard to see. So here's gray, light gray comforter, pink blanket. There's another white and here's like a stripe along it. There's a white and gray stripe pattern blanket in this zone here that her paws are underneath. I think because she was burrowing and then fell asleep. So she tucked her little feet under that additional blanket. That's really hard to see because I have the light of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ beaming into my room. She's just a baby. She's just a baby. That's just a baby back there. All right. I'm gonna have you guys raid Zeus. He's playing Minecraft. It was so fun playing with him the other day. Oh gosh, I have to spell this correct. I think that's right. E-U-Z. Go be the absolute nicest people in the chat. If you don't know the rules, ask the mods, don't break them by accident. And go in there bringing your good vibes. And thanks for your good vibes here today. This stream was a vibe. Love chatting, love sharing stories. I'll probably do Empires soon. I think I have a special stream tomorrow, but I think after the special stream, I think it'll only be about an hour, if not less. Afterwards, I'll probably do Empires. I think I want to build the lake. I think I'm going to build the lake to look like a geode like I did in Afterlife. Because I got crystals. I got crystals from Lizzie, and that's going to be in one of the next episodes. But get in there. Go spread your vibes. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.